Welcome to World Class Bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me tonight is the one, the only, Dion Green.
Baby, boys and girls, children of all ages, have no fear. Your boy Dion is here. And yes, I promise you, when you go to the store, you want something nice and pretty, you tell them. But I'm with Dion.
We're all with Dion, sir. That man chuckling in the background is the last standing Simone. Big Rig, Nick Utam.
See, I have a black friend named Dion. I'm okay. I'm cool. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's good.
And finally, a man who has one black friend. His name is Dion Kendo Slice.
Well, in honor of my black friend Dion, I am here to make an announcement that this will be the very last episode of World Class Bullshitters I will ever do in May of 2020.
There we go.
I raised some pulses there for a second. I know.
I was just like, really? Something that lame caused you to quit?
Yeah, I have a black friend now. I can't do a podcast anymore. It's a new chapter in my life. I feel so more enlightened and enriched and culturally diverse.
You are. I got a hell of a show in line for you then, man. Culturally diverse show we'll ever have. So tonight, okay, Kendo.
That was Nick.
I was going to say, are we talking about geopolitical stuff? Is that what we're doing tonight?
The movie Geostorm.
Okay, all right. No, I love that movie. That movie.
The sleeper hit of 2013 or 14
that movie,
or 15 or whenever the fuck it came out.
That movie is the room of disaster movies. It is wonderful in the worst way.
God damn it! That means we have to watch it now, doesn't it?
It's fun. Trust me. It's not that bad.
You know, I mistook it for Hurricane Heist for a brief moment. I was like, wait, Hurricane Heist wasn't that bad.
That's very true. And, you know, we watched it while drinking and nursing hangovers. And even then, it still wasn't that bad.
Well, I love how they took the premise of Den of Thieves and just added a hurricane to it. Like, that's basically what they did.
It was so goddamn funny. Just a random, and like I just love the random hurricane-proof truck. That's what made me laugh. Like it's hurricane-proof, and we're gonna bolt it into the street so it doesn't move, and then it ends up getting like fucked up anyway. I was like, well, why? That was such a weird selling point for this movie. And then again, and it's like, yo, you know, this chick and this dude, everyone in this movie, they're really bad at acting. What is happening?
You're correct.
I don't know, man.
That was a great way to spend my 30th birthday.
Ew, oh my god, I love that fucking movie.
So, folks, this is episode 220 of the podcast. We're going to be talking about some serious stuff, some fun stuff, but all entertainment related. So, let's start the show like we always do, and we'd like to thank our newest patron. So, first off, we have our newest patron, our friend Daniel. Thank you very much for joining today, Daniel. We also have our friend and new patron, Johnny. And we also have our friend, Chewbacca. We read him last time, but we didn't have a proper show last week. I had the International High Council, and it was fun, but it went on for 8 hours, so we didn't have time to do this show. So this week is going to be not even a double whammy, because if you're a patron at the $1 level, we gave you basically, we replaced last week's show. We covered everything, Snyder Cut, Star Wars stuff, all of it. It's on there. It's a 90-minute episode. So if you want to really get the truest experience in quotations, which, you know, it started out as after hours, it turned into, hey, let's just have a whole fucking show. And that's what it was. We recorded it around brunch, so we're all sitting around drinking coffee, having a hell of a time. So, guys, what is new in your world? Nick, what's new with you?
Nothing, man. Just, you know, still trying to survive this corona shit, and just, you know, trying not to get it.
That's the real trick, isn't it?
Yeah. Just, I mean, you know, going outside is fun. One thing that pissed me off recently is I tried going to Best Buy, and I thought Best Buy would be, you know, somewhat normal, because every other store is normal. They're just like, oh, wear a mask, or you know, here's some sanitary wipes, just wipe down the carts. No, Best Buy had their parking lot locked off. And only curbside pickup. And if you wanted to get anything in the store, you had to stand outside in between the two sliding doors and ask them, "Do you have this? And can you bring it up front? Can I pay for it?" And if you wanted to go inside the store to look at stuff, you had to make an appointment.
Yeah, our Best Buy is curbside now too. I thought it was just ours.
But... I was like, your Best Buy. You're not supposed to be that bougie, man. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, GameStop wasn't even that bougie. What about you, Kendo?
Well, same as always. Just the only thing is now there's more stuff open than there was before because we're an open state. We slayed the Rona. There's no reason to be afraid here.
I'm so excited for you. I'm in California where it's like 90 more days of nothing.
Yeah.
and then after that, 90 more days of nothing.
Yeah, and then they'll go ahead and extend it. But I mean,
They
if you're
just
in
did in
Michigan,
LA
you could at least
County.
get a boat.
Oh, jeez.
Dion, I know you got riots and other stuff that have been going on in Michigan. It's been a pretty tame week by comparison.
It really has. It really has. Now that all the marches and stuff have kind of quieted down, and even though we got extended till June 13th or some shit like that, it's actually been, still slowly opening back up. We're the vast majority of us Mitten State motherfuckers are all just waiting for the bars to open up so we can all congregate, laugh about being in the Midwest, and then all make fun of our governor's husband.
King of the cup.
So funny. Yes, he is a special dude now. He is going to be the butt of many a joke, at least for the next year, I assume.
Now, Jeff, what's new with you? Oh, not much. The book came in the mail. So, folks, this week on the High Council, yeah, that was a great
smooth.
Right?
That was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
So, no, seriously, folks, this week, if you backed our comic book last time, there was an error with the shipping company and all this stuff. So I just went ahead and got a refund and basically redid it all. And this new book is everything I could have possibly wanted and more. We're talking basically 90 pages, high gloss cover, all new print. It looks fantastic. I'm excited. That's why I sound a little off, because I'm trying to look at this. It literally just came in the mail right before I went on air, so I'm super pumped. But this week on the High Council, I'll show it to you guys. So if you backed it, you'll be getting a new copy in the mail. The shipment comes next week, so I have to deal with 38 crates of comic books. Well, that's gonna be fun.
Ooh, fantastic.
Yeah, I'll deal with it though. I'll deal with it. But if you missed out on it, we'll have another opportunity down the road. Don't worry. Just keep watching the channel. We'll keep you guys up to date. Also in the chat, I've been seeing all the titles with my name in it. I approve of every one. Just make us laugh. Do your worst. That's all I can say.
The Jeff of Wall Street.
So, guys, do you want to start out light or heavy this week?
I feel like we should start out heavy with the haymakers, blow our load, and then use technique to finish the show off with the funny stuff.
Yes, Liquor Jim, I saw your message. I'm going to leave this on screen. Yes, replacements. The best version possible. This might be the nicest one.
Liquor Jim, know you got the postcards?
Oh, Liquor Jim, I got your postcards. I'm going to be, I'll do some P.O. Box stuff soon. You're the first person to send stuff to our new P.O. Box, dude, so thank you very much. But yeah, replacements will be there. This might be the nicest package of all the books. Like, this thing is super tight. I'm super excited. Anyway, sorry. I'm going to put it away out of my sight so we can have an actual podcast today.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be. So we got some news. So, guys in the chat, obviously press 1 if you know who this is. This is for all of us, though. John Boyega. Are we a fan? Are we not a fan? Kendo, thoughts on John Boyega?
Well, his name's Boyega, and I got nothing against him, I don't think. Apparently he hates me, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, we'll talk about how he hates you in just a minute. Nick, thoughts on John Boyega just as a person, an actor? Any thoughts?
Well, I mean, I liked him in previous work before Star Wars, and then once he got into Star Wars, he seemed to be kind of a jackass. Then once he got out of Star Wars, he seemed to be okay and started like airing out dirty laundry that I thought was funny. But I don't know what's happening with him now. He seems to kind of be going crazy now, so I don't know what the deal is. Dion,
thoughts on the race car outside? Thoughts on John Boyega?
I actually do like John Boyega. I do like him. I enjoyed his unfiltered reaction to the rise of Skywalker experience. That being said, this is like the third time that we've realized that he's kind of an impulsive asshole. So it's one of those things where you look at someone and you're just like, dude, just the first thing that comes to your mind whenever you get like emotional, don't say that. Just masturbate, and then with post nut clarity, then open your mouth. And he really needs to listen to Uncle Dion and heed his words.
Post nut clarity.
It's the best kind. So we're going to talk about something different here on the channel with John Boyega, a little bit of racism. So we're not going to get too deep into the political spectrum now, but this is a Star Wars actor, and I thought it would be interesting. I literally am making this the opener of the show because I want to bring up one point that he made that I kind of am bothered by. So we've all heard about the George Floyd stuff, right? The guy that got killed by the police in Minneapolis.
Oh,
Yep. That was shitty.
Yeah, definitely. Jesse and I were talking about it earlier, how it pisses her off. You got a video coming out for it eventually, right? Is that gonna be in the coming days? You're gonna make a video about all this stuff, probably.
The
George Floyd,
stuff? Yeah. I haven't decided yet, but I'm probably
maybe. So anyway, folks, just be on the lookout on Mindless Entertainment to have an actual take on the politics, not politics, but just take on it. But John Boyega, Star Wars actor, rails against racism after George Floyd. The Star Wars actor posted about his hatred of racism on Wednesday following the death of an unnamed black man in police custody in the U.S. He later doubled down against racist white people in an Instagram Live post. His initial anger was sparked at the death of George Floyd in Minnesota, who was shown in a video, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, I'm not trying to get into that stuff. But this is the point I wanted to make, because this is what kind of pissed me off. So he's talking about racism, and we all agree racism is bad, it's stupid. But this guy from Nigeria chimes in, and he says that he broke up with his girlfriend because she was racist against white people. And John Boyega says, I'm talking about white on black racism, the kind that has ruined the world and not caused a little breakup with your girlfriend. I thought that was the most removed from reality bullshit. I thought that if this Nigerian dude is legit, he's like, I broke up with my girlfriend because she's a terrible racist towards white people, and you're talking about fighting racism. I'm like, this dude's actually doing, and it's like, hey, you practice what you preach. I thought that was pretty cool. And then John Boyega discredits him instantly, and now he's just a footnote. I thought that was pretty shitty on his part.
It was. Yeah. It was. And again, I think that, and this is another example of, when famous people, when something terrible happens, and then obviously it kind of one of those things that naturally polarize people who believe different things, they think that them ranting on Twitter and using hashtags is making the world a better place. And at first, the first tweet, I was like, okay, I mean, I can dig where you're going with this, John. Every good person hates racists. You're not unique in that. But then the dude, if it's real, tells a story, and he's like, oh, that's what I'm talking about. And that's what pisses me off, because then that, I said this when we were talking about what's her name that's going to apparently start running Star Wars. When you stifle part of the conversation, you are ignoring the complexity of the issue and denying the very thing that helps us get past these things. And that's people fucking talking, right? And again, doing what's right, it doesn't mean doing what's fucking popular. And for that dude, kind of opening up and being honest, if it's legit on Twitter, is part of the way to get past this shit. If you hate racists, if you only talk about one form, fucking say that. But because he is so impulsive in not cognitively able to use his words, well, that's not what I'm talking about. Well, then, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? Why are you getting on Twitter then? Well, I'm talking about specifically white on black racism. Well, then what are we talking about here? If you're saying you hate racists, you hate all racists, not the ones that just happen to look like you or don't look like you or whatever. You hate them all. And when it's inconvenient to do the right thing, that's when you do the right thing. And it's just one of those things where it's like, yo, I mean, I wish he had like an older brother that was like, hey, buddy, hey, bub, brother, shut the fuck up. That was stupid. Just stop saying stupid things.
Yeah, you would say something?
Deanna, I just want to say thank you for saying that, because I feel very strongly about that and doing the right thing. Sorry, why am I getting choked up? God, this is weird. In case, I don't know if you guys were aware, but I did make a video on the Ahmaud Arbery incident that happened in Georgia not too long ago. I made a video on my channel. It was very polarizing, and a lot of people said things in the comment sections that were very overtly racist. And I kind of felt like, God, maybe I won't touch this topic anymore or whatnot, because people get so uppity in this, and I lost so much subscribers. And what you just said made me think, no, if I feel strongly, Jeff can tell you I feel strongly about it, because I was screaming about it earlier today. Right. And if I feel strongly about that and doing it, I should do it. Whether or not it's popular or not, people do it. So thank you, Dion.
I got a lot of love for you, Jess, and like I said, and again, and that's why, and again, that's why shutting down the conversation from one side because you feel the moral high ground is so wrong. People have different experiences, and that's why shit like that's important. Jess, and people love to throw shit out like allies and stuff, but the only way to the future is together. And that's one reason why the Oracle should be president from the Matrix. But the only way for us to get to the future is together. And you get more fucking flies with honey, motherfuckers. You can't. Oh, it's just wrong, and you're wrong, and shut up. Like, no one has ever accomplished anything doing that, realistically. And I have a white wife, and my son is biracial, and so many people who I fucking care immensely about are not people of color. My best friend is biracial, and without getting too too political about it, it's like just my reaction emotionally. Well, I'm not talking about that type of racism. If some random motherfucker says something to someone that I care about, you can bet your ass I'm gonna say something about it. So it helps to have people from all sides. You convince people by being open and conversing. Conversation is two ways, and John Boyega just proves yet again why so many people think that, well, I'm gonna type in all caps, makes you the right one. That's not how that shit works. The only way for us to get to the future is together, and sometimes that means talking with people who you disagree with.
I could not agree with that more, Dion. Fucking man.
Kendo.
Yes.
Having the background that you've had, not your race, but I'm not gonna say it on air, but what you've experienced firsthand from previous jobs, how do you feel about the stuff that Boyega's saying, or just in general? To bounce off Dion or Jessica?
I think it kind of misses the point when he says it that way, because if you look up racism is belief that your race is superior above all others. It doesn't say white people aren't anything like that. It's there. The whole, only white people can be racist thing is so short-sighted and so stupid that I can't even begin to describe that as a case, because you're essentially saying that two wrongs make a right. Well, white people were racist in the past, or are have committed racist things, so therefore it's okay to do horrible things to them now because they deserve it from what happened 150, 200 years ago, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever. So again, it kind of takes off of that. And if the idea is that we're all supposed to get along, we're all supposed to, move forward together, you're kind of not exactly filling into that motto when you essentially say that, no, just one group of people's the problem. If somebody were to come out and say one group of people's a problem and then point at somebody that's black, he would immediately, be dragged off the television, screamed a racist. But if a black guy walks on TV, or in this case, Boyega comes out and says, no, man, the only problem is white people, everyone's like, oh, yeah, dude, more power to you. That just creates more problems and continues to exacerbate the problems that we have, as opposed to actually, building a bridge together.
Again, well said.
It's like, if the goal is unity, where we're all on the same team, shit like that is not helping, move the ball down the field.
Nick, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, not too much. Dion's right. Kenda had has the right idea. It's all about together. It's all about, doing this together, being together, and, any sort of racism is wrong. Any sort of racism is wrong. Regardless who it's against, it's wrong. It's wrong on all counts. And Boyega is just perpetuating. I don't know. I think he had a knee-jerk reaction and felt that since he's got this following and he's got all these people on social media, he needs to say something. Being a young black man in in London, he's experienced things differently there and than in America and stuff like that. So he wanted to speak out. What he did, that's wrong. That's what he said was entirely you missing the point and stuff like that. So he needed somebody. He definitely needed somebody to tell him that it was incorrect, and he needed to kind of be a little bit more. Hey, let's do this together. Let's get together and do this. Not like only this group is the problem. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Like I said, I just thought because it is Star Wars related tangentially, it kind of pissed me off the way he just dismissed that stuff. I was like, well, if we're all doing the same thing, and you're like, well, not this version, it just breaks it down into chunks and it marginalizes other parts of it, and we're only focused on the one thing. Now, we're not going to get into tonight. We're not going to talk about police brutality or any of that shit. If you guys want to chime in or say your piece, it's open forum. You're more than welcome to. But, it's just not that kind of show. It's never been that kind of show. But this is Star Wars related to a degree. Now, do you think John?
And hold on 1 second. And again, I'm not going to get into it. I just want to say, and kind of like while listening to you guys and watching the chat, and that's what worries me, right? One particular, is just saying, well, you guys are just talking and saying nothing, and pretending to get along is not going to fix anything, and similar things to that. And I just want to be very careful in my response, but that's the shit that worries me, right? And that's why saying those things don't work, because again, that's a separate conversation for a different show. But immediately dismissing someone, that's the fucking problem. That's why these things that always come to a head, right? So for someone to say, oh, well, you guys, you don't know our struggle. I do. I fucking do. Family history, personal experience, everyone has that. And no one wants to talk to you. No one wants to help you solve, or no one even wants to hear the issue when you're being dismissive. Point blank, period. It doesn't matter what you're doing. There is a time for confrontation. And I can tell you right now, this ain't it. It's a lot harder to listen to someone you don't agree with than it is to accuse someone of not knowing your play. And I understand that. But that sure as shit ain't the adult way to do it. And hopefully, after the immediate knee-jerk reaction of everyone kind of wears off, I think people will finally understand that. And more importantly, I hope people like John Boyega fucking understand it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily his status in society or just that he doesn't live in America per se, but I just think he's a little removed from the reality of certain situations. So, and I know, I'm not discrediting anything he could have faced, but let's be honest. When you come from money or you have a certain status, once you achieve it, you kind of remove yourself because there's only one color that matters at the end of the day. It's green. Exactly. So everyone knows that, people might be whatever, but if Jay-Z walks into a bar, everyone's going to kiss his ass and, hope for a good tip. So I think John Boyega, doesn't he come from a fairly well-to-do family or something like that?
You know what? I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. I know apparently there was a period where, obviously because he was starting in acting, he was obviously pretty poor, But yeah, I'm not sure about his family background. But again, I think and that's the thing. Obviously people brought that up to him on Twitter, and he kind of fired back. And at one point, he was essentially just blindly shooting in the dark, like he was facing the fucking predator. But I worked up from nothing, and that's when it pisses me off. It's like, motherfucker, there are billions of people who work up from nothing. Like, you have to be able to differentiate what the discussion is. And yet, if he wanted to specifically talk about one type of racism, I understand that. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can't blindly shoot off an initial statement on Twitter. People react and they be like, "Oh, well, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about." That's not how that works effectively. And if he's just ranting, then he's just ranting. And the other side of that is it's fucking social media. People do this on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, everything. If you say something into the void that it's open for people to respond, you can't get mad at when people are like, "Hey, yo, man, what the fuck?" Like you can't. Oh, well, I'm not talking about that. Well, bitch, you brought it up. I can talk about it. People want to randomly say stuff and then try and backtrack and control the narrative. If you want to have a conversation, have the conversation, but be open about it. And that's the stuff that drives me crazy about the type of shit when like that Boyega pulled off. It's like, you can't fucking have the conversation then. Stop backtracking. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. Then what the fuck are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Just real quick, I looked it up. His father was a minister and his mom worked with disabled people. So no, he did not come for money. That is not. That's a noble cause. That's just not a hey, I'm swimming in it type of thing.
Right.
But I think that's pretty much a good way to cover this. Is there anything else you guys want to add or say? This is supposed to be a fun show. I just thought it was interesting. I really want to hear Dion's take since you drop a lot of truth bombs on the show. People get really excited by them. And I thought, your take would be fun for a lot of people to hear.
I'm good. You guys got anything there, Kendo or Nick?
Oh yeah, Dion 2020. That's what I got.
I was just going to say, just because somebody's famous or rich doesn't make them a moral authority, and that's part of the problem in the world we live in. Is we think that just because somebody's on TV, that they are somehow better than everybody else, and that they should be the ones that we listen to and follow behind. It's like they play pretend on TV; they're not anything special,
right? Or that their path to rich and fame, like, yeah, man, like this is my experience. It's like, there are plenty of people that go on that path and don't become famous actors. There are people that are on the acting path that did what you did, and they fucking, go and they teach at universities, or they teach acting, or they only make money while it's specific to you, you have to understand perspective. And I just think that right now he's showing that he doesn't have a whole lot of perspective.
Well said.
Yeah, and I think in this last year or so, we've seen a lot of these celebrities speak out, and people are starting to smell their bullshit and not give them the attention, not listen to them, and not give them any credit because of them being celebrities and of the status they have. And I mean, hell, we even saw at the beginning of the pandemic of it hitting America, where it was just like, oh, all these celebrities in their pot tubs and be like, oh, we'll be fine. It's like, no, you have millions of dollars, of course you'll be fine. A lot of people don't. So yeah. I think a lot of people are not listening to their bullshit anymore, and it's going to happen more and more as time goes on.
Here. I'm going to read the super chats from this section, and we're going to move on to Superman. So let's see. First off, we have our friend RMB Entertainment, who says, Dion, please bless us with your verse of Yoko Ono.
That'll lighten the mood.
Yeah.
Love.
I think what's going to happen is when we have our Party Boob album, you're going to have a track called Yoko, and you're just going to sing that.
Yeah, we're going to make it strictly.
We'll make it an extended cut too.
Yeah, it'll be a 12-minute LP.
It'll be like an 8-minute long track of just that.
We'll do Dion Green as Yoko Unplugged, Dion Green as Yoko Acoustic. It'll be great.
We'll call it Inagata to Ono, and it's like 30 minutes of just Dion doing Yoko.
Can we just have Dion sitting on a stage on a stool with some dreads or something?
Or wearing the same outfit that she wore when she did that shit, like the little top hat with the tinted glasses and a tight turtleneck.
Yeah, those big ass granny driving glasses.
That's my next Halloween. Yes, absolutely. We're doing this shit.
Dion or Kendall, what was the name of the song? Inagata to Yoko?
Inagata to Yoko.
I love it.
The one because Inagata Vita is famous for being so long that it wasn't played on radios very much because it was an 18-minute long song and 12 minutes of it was drum solo. So 18 minutes of Inagata to Yoko of just Dion doing Yoko Ono for 18 minutes, I think would be perfect for the radio.
I mean, personally, I think 8 seconds is long enough, but I mean, that's okay.
Don't keep it from the people, Nick. Don't keep it from the people.
Yeah, I was going to say 8 seconds is too much of real Yoko Ono, but Dion doing it totally different. I actually enjoy that.
Our friend Chim247 says, Jeff or the 120 Days of Sodom. So that's the movie title for me, guys.
Oh, God.
The implications of that story alone.
I'm down. I'll make the film. Fuck it. Our friend Logan Michael Anti-Funko Pop says, thoughts on the Black Series reveal. Logan Michael, I'm glad you brought this up. I think you might have tagged me on Facebook or somebody else in the group did. I like what I saw. I find it interesting that of all these big Star Wars reveals, we had 2 from Empire Strikes Back, a couple other OT, and then a bunch from Rebels, but I didn't see an Episode 9 Rose Tico or anything like that. So
funny how that works out, right?
Gee, I wonder why.
I know, right?
Oh, that's crazy. I can't believe that.
All I'll say is that I may get Darth Vader, and that's about it. So I'm not angry at him. I'm not I'm militant about the Black Series, Logan Michael. I'm like, it looks cool, but I got Inspector Gadget this week, so that was my main focus. Breadman Productions, thank you very much. He says Dion, I think Dion needs some WCBS ASMR. It's been a while. Well, Dion, do you think you need some ASMR in the voices of Yoko Ono? Lionel Joseph. Anyway.
I think I can resoundingly say no, seeing as I had to take off my goddamn headphones. For the tingle in my spine, sure as shit wasn't excitement.
Oh, jeez.
Lionel Joseph.
Up next is our friend Liquor Jim, who says, stealing solo replacements? Hell yeah. Of course, Liquor Jim, I'm a man of my word. I told you guys you'd get replacements. These things are better than you could possibly imagine. So there we go. You're going to, you'll get it soon. Like I said, if you're one of the, we're going to do it in tiers so we can get it done quickly. If you're a basic, not basic, but if you're the first tier backer, you'll get your book and all the other stuff, and then we'll just, get it all taken care of. But like I said, I should expect those by the 5th of June, if not earlier. If not earlier, seems kind of scary because these things are going to be giant. I don't know I'm going to do 38 boxes of them. Up next is Dr. Coffness. He says, the unbearable Jeffness of being. Deeper cut. I like it, though. Everyone should have a little Jeffness. That's all I can say. Bomb Shoes, thank you very much. He says, just burnt my thumb cleaning my bowl. Also, hail. I wonder what kind of bowl you were cleaning that you burnt your thumb. Nick?
Quit using a lot of hot water on that bowl, dude. All right, turn down the temperature, okay?
Yeah.
We also have Chim247 that says Dion is an effing national treasure, so much that he needs to be wary of Nicolas Cage.
Ooh.
Actually, wouldn't he be more wary of Sean Bean?
Yeah.
Don't worry. No.
Sean Bean would try to steal him.
Well, no, because Sean Bean's gonna die in 30 minutes. It's fine.
That's true. See, eventually I'll get away from him scot-free. It's I don't want fucking, Nick Cage throwing lighter fluid on my back and lighting it on fire to see the hidden text or some crazy shit.
Oh, God.
Up next, we had our good friend, God damn it, Cat. Sorry, TLJ Screwjob. What is up? He says, it's more about police brutality than the cop who shot the guy in the hotel when 5 cops were giving him a command. That cop retired yesterday with a $31K pension. Like I said, I don't want to get too deep into police stuff. We've all had run-ins, issues, X, Y, and Z. But just like I said, this specifically was about the John Boyega comment and how I thought that it was kind of shitty that you marginalized that dude. But anyway, I'll be looking more into this stuff. Again, I'm not going to turn the channel into making videos on that content. But have you guys heard about that or anything else? There's really nothing
I didn't hear
else
about the pension. I heard that the dude directly on him was fired and they're seeking charges. So I didn't hear about the other guy getting a 30, getting his pension. So and obviously for those of us who are into preparing for retirement, 31K pension sure shit ain't that much. But I didn't hear anything about that part.
Hold on, we had a message come in. I wanted to put it on the screen. It was fucking hilarious. Oh god. I'll find it in a minute. It was from somebody named Wolf Z2 that says, this episode is 220. What sort of celebration are you guys going to have when it reaches episode 420?
Well, we've got 200 episodes to prepare, so
yeah, we should. We'll die on episode. We'll die on air. How's that?
That's almost 4 years away.
We'll pull an Elon Musk and go into space.
Oh, jeez. Did anybody watch that almost launch?
No, I thought you post videos or post links, and I was going to watch it and ask you, but just I didn't get around to it. I've been we can talk about it at the end if you want. Cool.
Yeah, because I watched most of it except for the scrubbing part of the fucking mission at the end. 17 minutes, and then they called it like, there's so much lightning. We're gonna call it. We're gonna scrub it.
Our friend Private Halo 117 says Disney is going to reopen. Do you think they'll screw it up somehow?
John, is that you?
Yes.
Nice deep reference there, Nick. What'd you say, Kendo? You said yes, or was that Dion?
No, yeah, that was me. I said yes.
Now this is only Disney in Florida. I don't think they're opening the one in California. Are they, Jesse? No. Okay. So this is a Florida one. I think Drunk 3PO posted a video on Instagram the other day of him at Disney Walk or Disney Boardwalk or some like outdoor Disney mall in Florida.
Whatever their downtown Disney is.
Yeah, some sort of downtown Disney equivalent. And there were some people out, but I don't know if Disney's going to screw it up. I think they might have roadblocks put in front of them, but maybe they'll find a way. People have to go first. That's the thing. People have to go. I read an article about movie theaters the other day and how they opened up in Oklahoma or somewhere. And like the first day or first week, 25 people showed up, and then 14 the next week or the next day, and it slowed down. And people were like, "Oh God, I hope it picks back up." So a lot of places are going to be operating at a loss for a while. It's going to be rough on some people. Hopefully everyone comes out to the good, though. J. Pat, thank you very much. He says, I like all the DCEU movies. I hope my honesty can inspire Dion to tell the truth about all the times he's seen Dark Fate.
I will not stand for this smash job.
Well, Dion, the thing is, people can joke about Dark Fate, but we tortured you and made you watch it live on air for the 900th time. No.
Yeah, it's on our Patreon.
Yeah.
I will never forgive you guys. Oh, there's a fly in the air. Let me get out my butterfly knife and cut it in half randomly at breakfast. Fuck you.
Ironcaster says Dion soundtrack to Terminator Dark Fate. You want to do one, Dion?
Yeah.
And then finally, Thunder Robots, thank you. He says Jeffinator, Dark Zeon, Kendo, and the Nick Chumps.
Oh my god.
The Nick Monks, excuse me.
Sure.
I'm doing it just for the paycheck.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, that'll
Now-
be a mailed-in performance.
Let's talk about a man who probably isn't going to mail in his performance because people seem to love him. So excuse his blown-up image. We have Henry Cavill on screen, the modern-day Superman. Some people love him. Some people are okay with him. I don't see many people that hate him. I've seen a lot of Man of Steel hate. I've seen a lot of BVS hate. I'm one of the people that dislikes that movie. Justice League's okay. But I don't hear people rip him apart. They rip apart the mustache and the CGI'd lip and all that shit. But that's not his fault. That's not a reflection of him as an actor or as his performance as Superman. That is contractual obligations, poor planning from Warner Brothers, a whole deluge of other things, which we're going to cover in a video that I got coming out probably tomorrow evening. But so there's news right now, guys, that Henry Cavill could play Superman again in an Incredible Hulk style role. So Mark Ruffalo doesn't get his own film, but he keeps appearing in Avengers movies or Thor movies as the Hulk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
It's something along those lines. Now, if you were one of our patrons and you listened to our after hours / bonus episode, we covered pretty extensively our initial reactions to the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League coming to HBO Max. I guess we were fairly positive, wouldn't you guys say, since we're fairly positive about the film itself?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so we talked about that, and some more news has come out. $30 million plus for the cost of the project, and now we have this Henry Cavill news.
Right.
So, Dion, since you and I are the biggest comic book enthusiasts on this channel, first two-part question: thoughts on Henry Cavill as Superman, and thoughts on him coming back.
I like Henry Cavill as Superman. I honestly do. I think he definitely looks the part more than past Supermans, and as the character, he did a fine job. What was wrong, sure as shit, wasn't the actor playing Superman. That being said, I'm happy that he's getting somewhat paid for the annoyance that being Superman has become under Zack Snyder. But my heart is happy for him. My brain is like, yo, man, cut your losses and get out. At this point, just you got to contend with Zack Snyder. You got to contend with the people who want to turn it into something else, and then essentially stand far and let you take all the brunt. And then after all that shit, you got to take it from Warner Brothers. So I get that the check isn't bouncing, and it's probably got a pretty amount of zeros behind it, but you might just want to get the fuck out while you can, man. For continuity's sake, it's awesome. I'm glad. I'm happy. He at least gives a shit about the character and cares enough to come back. But dude, just my brain of brains is saying, just get out, dude. Save yourself. Save yourself.
Nick.
I got nothing against Henry Cavill. I think he's great, and he's been positive, as much as he can about the whole experience. He is a good Superman. I think he's doing a good job. I really do wish they would change the outfit though and bring back the red trunks. I'm a fan of that because just having the solid blue thing is really weird. I agree. It looks off to me. It's just strange. But no, I mean, I'm glad he's gonna get a little more paid through through DC and do some more Superman stuff. He's doing a good job. And once again, I agree with Dion that the things that happen in the movies are not his fault. I mean, it's poor direction, poor storytelling, and a bunch of a bunch of like too many. There's too many cooks. Really, there's too many cooks.
I love that.
Yeah, and that seems what it seems to be, and it's not his fault that everybody around him keeps fucking up.
Right.
Yeah.
Kendo.
Not much more to add, but yeah, I mean, he's been the best Superman that's come along since Christopher Reeve. I've enjoyed him quite a bit as Superman. Any problems with anything to do with Superman is definitely not his fault, and I'm really hoping that we get to see more of him as Superman because I think he's doing a really good job with it.
Now, I saw that we see a lot of love for Henry Cavill. I love it. I think he himself isn't a problem with any of it. If anything, I think he's one of the better guys in Hollywood right now because he's a fan of stuff. He respects the roles. It's not like what was it last week? We had fucking Bat talking about how he doesn't want to work out and shit to be Batman. Henry Cavill looks like Superman. When he walked under that flaming oil rig in Man of Steel, I was like, wow, that looks like Superman. Holy shit. Didn't even have the costume on yet. So the dude takes it seriously. We're talking about films about people that wear spandex suits and fly through the air and do all these crazy, outlandish things. And Richard Donner had it right when he talked about the word verisimilitude, about you had to bring this level of realism, this level of believability in this insane, crazy, outlandish scenario. I think Henry Cavill does that, and he's a pretty good, I don't want to say usher, but he's a pretty good, he kind of just leads everyone into that. He brings that with him. He brings us this little level of believability, and I like that. But we have talks of him coming back, and that's exciting, but it's also disjointed and broken. This is what I really wanted to get into with you guys is DC did not know what they were fucking doing with the DCEU. Look, if you're in the chat and you like this, the movie's awesome. More power to you. This is not a stream to sit and rail on you about what you like and what we dislike X, Y, and Z. It's not about that. This is about when you're setting up this new universe with a new Batman. What are you gonna do with the old Batman? You're bringing the old Superman back. You're gonna have Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman stick around. Jason Momoa is almost called him Underman, Aquaman. All these people
Underman
are gonna stick around. Underman. And then fucking Batman is the new thing. And it doesn't work. I think, you had Shazam, which was still a remnant of the old DCEU, and Joker's its own thing. But at the same time, that leads to the possibility of having a crossover with Joaquin Phoenix and Ben Affleck if you want that kind of thing. This new Batman, you cannot really have two Batmans in the universe, two Bruce Waynes.
Yeah, and honestly, I think DC's doing the wrong thing by letting these properties be, done certain ways. Joker's great. Don't get me wrong. Joker's great. I love what they did to that, but that needs to be a one-off and just, be its own thing. That's fine. But like mixing of Batmans and Supermans and all this other stuff, I think is really bad when they were trying to give these properties to other people to try to, to make their own movies, because they need to kind of, I think that if they want to make their own universe, they need to do it slowly and methodically and really think about what all this means for their brand. Because if you have like 3 different Batmans and 4 Supermans and 2 Wonder women or whatever, and and all this stuff keeps going on, you're going to really mess with the audience, and it's going to, they're going to be like, oh, do I need to watch this, or does it connect to the last movie, or what's going on here? Is it the first one or the third one? Like, I think it's going to confuse the general audience too much with that kind of stuff.
Right. I have a question.
Yeah.
Can we just go ahead and make that our own superhero movie that we make Underman?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we need to just come up with a backstory and why he's Underman.
Yeah, sure.
For sure. And I think to Jeff's first point, Henry is a great mascot, right? Because he looks the part of the character he's portraying. He's a damn fine actor. He's someone who gives a shit, who generally cares. Obviously he's getting paid, but he cares about the property. And it helps that the guy that he's playing is essentially the mascot for the company that's making the fucking movie. He was like you said, one of the bridges throughout the fucking chaos that was the DCEU, 100%. That all being said, and I think the majority of fans all agree, the issue wasn't him. And I think one of the reasons why it went so far was because, Henry Cavill's really fucking good at his job. And that dude gave a shit, and all the things I just said about him, that's one reason why, like, we'll go ahead, we'll make these other films, and we'll throw together a Justice League movie and hope the shit works, even though, it technically still turned a profit, but that was one of the reasons why Warner Brothers and especially Zack fucking Snyder felt so comfortable putting this shit show together, was because Henry Cavill was fantastic at his fucking job. And I think that and again, this isn't on Henry, but I feel like we're in a position where we don't want to reward Warner Brothers and especially that son of a bitch Zack Snyder for bad behavior. And Henry Cavill coming back, again, just get Zack Snyder away from it as far as possible. Because if he comes back and you keep giving Zack Snyder swings at the fucking plate, he's going to fuck it up. And you're going to eventually chase Henry off. That will happen. And as awesome as he's done, I do not want to see Henry coming back being a sign for Pattinson being shitty at his job and them haphazardly trying to mold Joker into the DCEU, or them continuing on with shoving Harley Quinn as a major character down everyone's fucking throats. They just really need to not confuse this Superman and how awesome he is with success of the decisions that they've made. And it's very hard to see Zack Snyder taking his head out of his own ass to see that.
Yeah, and I see a lot of people in the chat talking about, hey, maybe it's a different point in time, X, Y, and Z. I think it's just going to cause confusion because a lot of, we're in the geek sphere, the nerd sphere, whatever you want to call it. Not just this channel, but everyone listening, everyone that's on, in the fandom menace, we know the difference between a Tim Drake and a Dick Grayson Robin or something along those lines. But and those are lesser known thing. But when you're gonna have two different Batmans on screen, it's gonna be a little confusing. And I don't know if this is gonna be. Here's a hard question I want to ask people: are people excited by the idea of maybe going back to the Snyderverse because the new stuff is bad, or because the old stuff was truly great? It's that sort of question I think never gets asked, because a lot of these websites, everyone's so excited, everyone's such a fan, X, Y, and Z, and if you don't like it, you're toxic. And we're kind of like, they're slowly, well, not slowly because we're pushing back, but people are trying to shut out criticism of all this stuff. And I think it's important to understand why people might be excited over this stuff, so you can figure out what it is and do more to make them happy. I think at the end of the day, we all want to enjoy DC and Marvel movies. It's not about, only Marvel can be superior. I just think DC had its chance years ago and kind of blew it. Maybe this is a second chance for them because of this Marvel lull. I mean, we don't know when Black Widow is actually going to come out. We don't know how the world's going to go. It's just delayed in production. We might see the Snyder cut of Justice League drop before we see, the next post Black Widow Marvel flick hit. So people might be paying attention to that. And then if they're going to make all these announcements and do these things, who knows? Maybe DC could pick up the slack.
Well, one thing's for sure is we will definitely see it before the New Mutants comes out.
True.
Absolutely. And quickly to that point, I don't have faith in Snyder. I don't have faith in Warner Brothers. I think it's very easy for them to fuck it up, and especially to the part of what you said about being confused. What was it? I think it was it Monkey Jeebus was like, hey, people know they're different Batmans. No, they don't. They don't. You have to remember, so much of this is appeal to people who don't read comics or who aren't huge movie fans of these properties. They're not going to know it's not the same thing, right? And again, that Batman may be successful, but we know that Pattinson's Batman's coming out. If Henry Cavill's Superman, while they said it's not going to be there's no affirmation on the actual Superman movies, he's going to be doing the Ruffalo thing. So there are going to be other films where he's in it and he is Superman. It's going to be very hard for people if they decide to do it where it's a different universe or a different Batman. Normal people aren't going to know that. They're not going to differentiate between, okay, that was Zack Snyder's DCEU Superman. This is this new Robert Pattinson. He's a different Superman. If it's the same guy, visually, you're not going to make that distinction. Okay. And especially if it's, them trying to distance themselves from the DCEU, but not distancing themselves at the same time, while later having Aquaman come out and Wonder Woman 84 is going to come out. That's in the same universe. You're gonna cause a lot of confusion, and you have to remember the other people. People who listen to us regularly, we all know it's a different Superman. We will know it's a different Batman. We'll get, we look into that shit. Normal moviegoers don't. The moms who take their kids, the I guess standard action movie fans that don't read comic books aren't gonna know these things, and that's a little bit of a risk. It fucks with the story. People are gonna be watching a separate thing while trying to put it into the Justice League. People are gonna say, "Hey, does this mean we're gonna get a Justice League?" It causes a whole lot of issues that people like Zack Snyder and the people who made, Man of Steel possible, they cannot navigate that effectively. They've proven that. They've proven that for the last 4 fucking films. So I like I said, I love Henry. I love him as Superman, but this causes more work for people that can't fucking handle the load.
Well, people are talking a lot about Batman in the chat. Some people are saying they're tired. Some people are saying they're excited for the possibility of Ben Affleck to come back. I do want to share one thing real quick, though. Now, this isn't an actual. This is somebody built a model of Robert Pattinson of the suit, so this is a good approximation of what we'll get next. Well, now it'll be pushed back. Fuck. Whenever this movie comes out, excuse me, the Batman, Matt Reeves' Batman. Wouldn't it be funny if this movie actually never got made? Like they're just like, there's so much demand for this other DC. We're gonna go back to what didn't work before.
It becomes another New Mutants, where it's like, well, it'll come out eventually. And like, here we are, episode 420 of World Class Bullshitters in 4.5 years. We're sitting there talking about, will we ever get to see Bat Pats?
That's how we celebrated. That's a good way.
It sure shit has happened before. Whether it be by random natural disasters or shit just falling apart, it has happened before.
Now, I went to Dion episode 202. Can't handle the load. Make a T-shirt, please. Maybe we will. We'll make T-shirts. Don't worry. Dion Green's old fashioned doo-doo butter. That's going to be one.
That's a deep cut.
It is. That's for channel dad Brian Leap.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm showing this, this model, this mannequin, whatever it is, of this Bat suit. I hate this mask with a passion. I know a lot of people say
it looks like it's painted on almost. Like it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like can you even think with that thing on? It looks like it's just like it looks like it is your skull. That's just your skull now. That's what it looks like.
Hey, Leap's in the chat. What's up, buddy?
Man, it looks like they're trying to go for that 112 Batman suit, but they gave him a 5 head, and it's just, and it's just, and I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at my 112 Batman figure, and I think that's what they were fucking going for, dude. And it's like I'm still up in the air on it. I really am. The side view looks a hell of a lot better. It's tough not seeing the whole suit, and I think Batman's one of those suits where you got to see it from up close and afar, and I'm up in the air, dude. I'm definitely not completely sold on it. It's definitely doesn't give me the same vibes that you get when you saw Keaton's suit first, or even when they came out, when they were showing shots of Nolan's suit right before Batman Begins came out. Like it doesn't give me that same feeling. But fuck man, I don't know.
Well, I'm going to pull up a picture to show for the audience. We're going to do a comparison. We'll look at the Ben Affleck suit. Part of me likes the otherworldly, like larger than life. I can barely turn my head Batman. I did the suit. And that's the thing. The first image of him that popped up was crap. The one that he's in front of the Batmobile and he's all sad and mopey.
Well, they did that in that with that red background, which was such a dumb fucking. I don't know why they released that one. Like, we don't want to see the shit in red. Like, it's not just because he's the dark hero. The dark that doesn't mean we want to only be able to see it in the fucking dark. Come on.
Yeah, they made a mistake there. I'm trying to find a picture that's the right size of Ben Affleck Batman. But you brought up Michael Keaton's Batman suit. So, quick side note: today HBO Max launched, and we had HBO Now, so we got a free upgrade to it. Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark's talked about it, dude. They altered Batman 89. They put this new color timing filter on it. It looks terrible. Like, it's bad enough I turned it off.
Oh my god! What is I don't understand how these services think that they know better, and they're gonna make these. You know, they're putting these they're adjusting these movies, because I mean we had Back to the Future like 2 weeks ago, and that was a fiasco. Jeff, can you fill everybody in about what happened with the Back to the Future?
Yeah. So last week, folks, people were on Netflix and they were watching Back to the Future Part 2, and they noticed that the movie had been censored. The ooh la la scene where Marty looks at what he thinks to be the greatest. Exactly. Ooh la la, it was gone. I was pissed off about that. That's my favorite. Honestly, I think that's the part that makes me laugh the most in Back to the Future Part 2. It's always the ooh la la. Michael J. Fox had great comedic timing. Like, he really was as great as people build him up to be. But so they edited the film, and people caught wind, and they went nuts, and they started a Twitter thing and made videos about it. And they fixed it. They went back, they changed it. Even Bob Gale himself, one of the co-creators of Back to the Future, chimed in and said, I don't even know how that exists. It needs to be destroyed. And so we've seen alternate streaming cuts, and it's not a good thing.
Yeah, from what I read in the article, apparently it was a foreign cut that they had made that he didn't know about. And he literally had to tell them, fucking burn it.
Damn.
It's like he's got that, like, he had to make the call. He had to pick up the red phone and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
The Bob phone?
Yeah, the Bob phone. I was just like,
you never want to call the Bob phone unless it's a fucking emergency.
Oh yeah, I mean that's rough, man.
So no, but the Batman 89 change wasn't from the HBO Max streaming service. Tim, for the new 4K Blu-ray, they changed the picture quality. So
that's the one that they put on the streaming service?
The newest version. So it's really not the streaming service's fault. It is let's see, Batman 89 blue filter. I'm just gonna Google that and see what pops up. It just, I don't know how to describe it, man. Like, it makes remember how the movie was so dark and moody and atmospheric?
Yeah.
It's now looks, I want to say, almost television-like.
Oh. Okay.
It doesn't look good. The bat suit's just a different color. Like, I'm not here to. It's one of my favorite movies of all fucking time. Okay, so it's not like I'm here to rip on the movie. I love Batman 89, but there's just something different about it that I don't like. I don't know how to describe it. So maybe Tom from Midnight's Edge, if he's in the chat, I'll have him chime in, or he can send me a message or something. But they changed it. It just looks weird. So that's all I'll say. Then again, maybe I'm used to the old home video version. It could just be me.
The 4K is too good for you, Jeff. It's too good for you.
4K is too good for me, indeed.
It's too many Ks.
You want me to take one away for you just to enjoy Kendo?
Yes, $39.99K.
Yeah. Oh, I dig it. I love it. But no, jumping back to this DC Universe stuff, which really seems to catch a lot of people's attention right now. Mine too, all of us here in the Fandom Menace. It's like I said, I don't think giving the fans something like the Snyder Cut is inherently bad. I think it's very good. But I do think down the road it'll be kind of dangerous, because we'll get a lot of studios hoping to cash in on this, and they'll see like, well, that they invested $30 million and they got this out of it. What can we do? What movies do we have that are incomplete X, Y, and Z? And I think you'll see smaller risks. You may see, like I said, you might see that there's a version of Blade Runner that was never like officially released. I was doing research for our next video, and there's like the San Diego Comic-Con version or something from 1982 or something they showed one time or two times, and they never released it commercially. So I mean, you could do shit like that.
And again, I think you're right. I do think you're right. Dion agrees with you. But in this instance,
Wacky.
In this instance, this is wrong. The Snyder Cut is fucked up.
How so?
When you do like director's cuts, like with Blade Runner, that was strictly the studio fucking with him, and he wanted a specific movie. They wanted to dumb it down. They wanted it to be like PG-13 and shit, and he was trying to get closer to his vision of the film, right? So a director's cut was warranted in that sense because he wasn't able to do his vision. With Zack Snyder, they gave him the reins, and he fucked it up. Obviously studios interfere to a certain degree, and I understand that, and that cannot be easy to deal with. But he made specific stylistic and story-driven changes to fucking Superman. That's not the studio making that decision. That was a Zack Snyder choice. The whole visual with everything being cloudy and the color scheme being fucking grayer, that was a Snyder choice. This was not an instance of WB getting in the way of what Zack Snyder did. And you goddamn right, the salt is still real because this dude had the reins the whole time. He just fucked it up. And now with HBO coming out with his version, he's gonna get away with it. He's not gonna own up and say, you know what, making Superman kill Zod was a bad fucking choice. Instead of doing the good old-fashioned Superman just isn't dead, we're going to do this random mother box AED bullshit where it's Flash running and using the Speed Force of the mother box to bring him. That was a bad fucking choice. Rushing production when Henry Cavill, that again, I can see that being the studio, but fucking rushing and then putting in a haphazard fucking CGI change to his face was a bad fucking choice. Zack Snyder has no excuse in allowing HBO Max, or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves, come out with some backhanded money grab way for him to get out of responsibility for him fucking up the most worldly renowned, well-known comic book character and arguably team of all time. It's on him. It's on him. That's not the Snyder Cut's not going to change that. And obviously, Justice League was rushed. And again, I'm not putting that on Zack Snyder. They're trying to catch up to Marvel. But it's not like Zack Snyder had the whole world against him. He couldn't make specific choices. He made those choices. They were the wrong ones. Period. Superman's not fucking dark.
No, not at all.
He's not dark. You can tell the story of him leaving home, his dad dying, and going to the Fortress of Solitude without him trying to make him Judge Dredd. That's not the fucking character.
Nope.
You cannot
lucky hopeful
bring
type.
in. You can't tease Flashpoint and then do nothing with it. You cannot skip over the Superman being killed by Doomsday and then just be like, "Oh, that's the twist, guys. Come see the movie." That wasn't the studio. And if he's saying that, he's fucking lying. WB got involved. This is a lot. This is on them. 100%. But Zach, he was the executive producer on the other fucking films. So if he didn't have the choice, they're just putting his name in the fucking credits to give hardcore fans a hard on. No, he made choices and he fucked it up. Period.
No, I mean, I agree that he made bad stylistic choices very early on. But I mean, Justice League is one of these weird scenarios where there was studio intervention, money reasons, new director, death in the family, X, Y,
Justice
and Z.
League for sure.
Yeah, Justice League is my whole point is about just Justice League proper. If we're going to talk about the Snyderverse as a whole, I think there are many mistakes made from day one, and I think the one part that people fail to acknowledge or choose not to acknowledge is that Warner Brothers and DC were riding the high from The Dark Knight. That movie made $1 billion back in 2008. It was a huge hit. I mean, it fucking won an Oscar. Heath Ledger won an Oscar, posthumously for his performance as the Joker. I believe he was the first actor in a comic book film to win an Oscar in general. Dark Knight was treated as this event, and it was a good movie. I had a lot of fun. I own it on multiple formats. Nothing bad to say about it. I think Begins is better, but that's another story for another time. The point I'm trying to make, though, is DC was chasing that high. They wanted more of that. They thought to themselves, Marvel is so far ahead. We need to get, basically, if we can't do all the Marvel characters or all of our DC characters the way they do Marvel, we can at least hit them with nothing but Dark Knight level darkness. And the thing is, they missed out on what made the Dark Knight what it was. It was a dark film to a degree, but it was also realistic. There was a little bit of fun in there. It wasn't as balance. It was balance. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Yes. It was definitely a balancing issue, and you don't do that with Superman. Superman is not Batman. When I pick up a book about Superman, I want to read about what he's going to do. Is he going to go into space? Is he going to do this? Is he going to fight a giant robot? I don't know. I don't care, but I don't expect him to fight the Joker and the Riddler, and I don't expect Superman to have existential crisis issues and all this other stuff. Just straight up.
And just to be clear, I can totally agree that specifically Justice League in a vacuum was WB's fault. I mean, the whole rush to finish it was WB. The reason why I think even despite that, the cut is so wrong because everyone's gonna forget about Man of Steel. Everyone, and this is the most important thing, is gonna forget about fucking Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. Okay, and yes, I understand. Superman killed Zod in 1990. Fucking Superman started in 1940, so he's the dude who makes the right decision all the time, and that set in motion a fucking culture change that came to a point in Justice League. As much as I actually like Justice League, I do, but that was the culmination of bad decisions made by a dude who was given the reins, and he made the wrong choices. Obviously, the studio fucked it up, but part of why they fucked it up was because the franchise didn't take off the way that they wanted to. When it should have. It's building to Justice League. The only way you fuck that up is you're the one who fucks it up. The characters are there, and he fucked it up so bad that they rushed it. Not solely because he fucked it up, but that was one of the it didn't kick off. Man of Steel wasn't the huge success that it should have been, and that's why. Coming out with the Snyder cut, everyone's gonna forget about this shit, and they're just gonna move forward. But we'll keep Snyder around, and I'm telling you right now, he'll fuck it up. I promise you, he'll fuck it
up. Kendo, do you think Zack Snyder messed up at the beginning? Do you think there was some other step he could have taken to rectify the situation we're in now? What do you think?
I would say that. The mess up, kind of started at the beginning because they were trying to catch up to Marvel as fast as possible. And if you're wanting to really build the proper DCEU and build the Justice League, you can't just go blasting in there, guns a-blazing and try to catch up as fast as you can. I know I saw Man of Steel. I'm like, this is all right movie. I didn't like the dark, broody Superman because he's the hopeful character. He's the guy that's always positive and, out to do the right thing and all that good stuff. And I thought that Man of Steel was a huge missed opportunity. And then I just thought Batman versus Superman was just terrible because it was long, stupid. They gave away Doomsday in the trailer and they kill Superman. He's one of your big three in a comic book universe, and you kill him in the second movie. It's like,
and that was part of the problem. And that's part of the problem because that was an actual comic book story. That was a huge event when Doomsday showed up, and he's the mindless antithesis to Superman, and he fucking kills him, right? And it was a big deal because you had decades of Superman, right? And then they bungled it. That was the swerve just to swerve. Like you're saying, you don't do that in the second movie. You have to build him. He's Superman. Let him save the world a couple times. That deepens the sorrow of him sacrificing himself. And
right. Yeah. I mean, if you want to have Doomsday kill Superman in the comic book universe film thing that you're making, that's fine. That is one of the better, written comic book story arcs that I've read is the death of Superman. But you don't do it in movie number 2. Do it in movie number 5.
Oh yeah,
or something like that. Do it do it in movie number 6 or 7 if you've got 20 of them planned out like the MCU did. I mean, you do it partway through because everybody knows Superman can come back. He's a comic book character. No one's ever really gone. That's what I did there. And so, but doing it in the second movie, I was just like, all right, that immediately checked me out. I was just like, I can't really take this shit seriously anymore. you're taking one of your, three, one of your big three, and you decide it'd be like if when they did the MCU, if Iron Man would have died. You're like, well, fuck. What's the point of this?
Yeah,
like, we could bring him back. Well, that's fine. You can do that, but why would you kill him 3 movies into a 20 movie series?
Yeah,
it just doesn't make any sense. So I think it was bungled and mismanaged from the beginning, and I think it's because they went into it saying we got to catch up to Marvel, and then it was like, well, they came up with the destination in mind, but they had no map on how to get there.
And that was emphasized by Snyder.
Also, I mean, with Man of Steel, like, you have the damn origin story again for Superman. We don't we don't need the origin story for a lot of these characters. We don't need it for Batman, for Spider-Man, for Superman anymore. Please quit doing that.
Oh, yeah.
We know their origin
enough.
stories. My grandmother, who doesn't speak English, knows the origin story of Batman and Superman and Spider-Man. She does. She can tell them to me right now. And like you had this opportunity of just making Man of Steel, just like him battling a bad guy, like the one we haven't seen before, or a cool one, or something. You could have done that. It didn't have to be Zod again, because why pick Zod? Why Zod?
Because you kneel before Zod.
I guess so, but it was just a weird thing to pick that one, and then you could have picked anything else, and then you go and make BVS, and then you have so many meme-worthy quotes and shit that happens there, especially with like Martha. That's also my mother's name, like dumb shit like that, and then you make Lex Luthor character kind of Jokerish as well. Like you couldn't pick one or the other, and it felt like you were trying to jam both characters into one person.
And it
was weird.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah,
that was the most criminal offense of the whole thing.
Ah, God, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I did love the fight between Batman and Superman, and then the way it ended was dumb. But like the whole fighting with them, and Batman's trying to use intelligence and get like the Krypton gas and weaken him and beat the shit out of him, and he has his whole suit and everything. It was great. And I don't know, it was I love that scene, but when he says Martha, I couldn't. You immediately pull me out of it, and I was just like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Oh yeah.
Then you have Doomsday show up because we're expecting him because he's in the trailer, as Kenda said, as we all saw. When the trailers were dropping for it constantly, and like you ruin this whole thing, you ruin the whole experience, and it's just no longer a surprise, no longer a shock. And what are we really spending money on? I mean, it's just, I don't know. It just seemed like they were just trying to catch up with Marvel so fast and so quickly that they forgot to make a good story and a good character, and forgot what all this stuff meant and who these characters really were and what they meant to us and everything. They just forgot everything and just wanted that money and wanted that cash and wanted the recognition for it.
And that's the thing. It was very disingenuous. Like, don't get me wrong. Characters kill other characters. I'm not saying that Superman can never kill, and obviously thinking back, this very much reminds me of all the articles of people who clearly didn't read the fucking comic books. Well, Superman killed other people. It's like, one, don't skip over the context of all that. Some of those were different universes, or those were specific plot points put into the story to show the gravity of him taking a life on him as a person. On him as Superman, on him as a hero. I'm not saying that he couldn't have killed everyone, and I'm not even putting Superman killing someone, period, all on Zack Snyder. But right to motherfucking Nick's point, they forgot. It's different if you understand the character and you put that hurdle in front of them to further the story, right? And the reason why it snowballed to Justice League was because he kills Zod. There's no examination of that. In even in the main storyline, when he kills Dr. Light, the whole point of that is he fucking goes into isolation. He literally says afterwards something like, what the fuck have I done? He thinks about giving up and not being Superman. He kills him, and that's an examination of self-reflection on Superman's part. Obviously, in Man of Steel, it was a cheap thing. Like, okay, we don't want to bring him back. Zod's going to kill these people. He has no choice. Obviously, the situation was meant to be, he had to make the final decision. I understand that. But it's Superman. That was part of, Zod has done a lot of bad things. That's what separates him from anti-heroes, from other characters, is that Superman is the Boy Scout. And there are instances where that gets annoying. 100%. That's one reason why Superman isn't my favorite character, even in the top 10. But that's what the character is. You know, he's the golden standard. So when he decides not to kill someone, that's one of the qualities that endear him to the rest of the Justice League and to humanity as a whole. So when he dies, that's the huge hole in the story. They're like, damn, it's the dude who wouldn't even kill someone who invaded the planet and murdered thousands of people. That dude's dead now. It enhances the story. It enhances how you feel about the character. It makes it real for you. It makes you want to come back and see more. And it was just a haphazard swerve. It was a Vince Russo move. He kills Zod, and then that's it, bro. That's it. You know, he's at the end of the movie, he's not upset about it. He's flying off. They do more close-up zoom-ins of him flying through the air. He kills Zod, and there's no reflection about it. And that's why that was bad. You know, it's not Injustice where they're delving into what it would be like if Superman became a killer. This is Justice League. This is supposed to be the rebirth of a franchise. Yeah, he kills him. Good. He's got Amy Adams. Next movie. That's the fucking problem. And then that becomes Justice League. That throwaway of the characters. That becomes a habit. A habit that they repeated in Batman vs. Superman. A habit that came to a point in Justice League when you have to rush the story, but then you have these characters that aren't fleshed out. That's why it's on Snyder. That's why I'm putting that on Snyder. He fucked it up, and it kept going.
Now, I got a question for you.
Yes.
If they do, I know they said there's rumors to sign Henry Cavill in the Mark Ruffalo style role, but what if they do another Superman film? I don't think a Superman film is a really hard thing to produce, and I don't think it's a hard thing to sell to an audience. Let's say they're going to make a Superman 2 or Man of Steel 2. Let's just call it that for the sake of confusion. We don't want to think, Zod, Ursa, and non-Superman 2. So Man of Steel 2, let's say they make it. What's the premise, Dion? What do you think they should do to make it, just to make it? What do you think it should be?
Ooh. So is this going to be a Man of Steel before a Justice League sequel?
It doesn't matter. No, it's kind of locked in. It's got to be post-Justice League.
Okay, so it's locked in. It's post-Justice League. Okay. If they do a Man of Steel 2, ooh, that's a fucking good one. You know what? I think not to right the ship of what happened in Batman vs Superman, but I think and kind of hear me out. I think you do Parasite. You know, you go into, since they fucked up Doomsday, they fucked up General Zod. You need someone that's going to help you examine how Superman feels as a person. And I think you bring in Parasite. He steals his powers. He, whether it be he kills people and tries to frame Superman, and then you come to a point where he has to make that same decision to kill Parasite, to keep his powers from being in the hands of someone else, or to not kill him. And then you have him make the choice that he should have made in Man of Steel. Parasite's not a huge character, but you can do a lot with him. He obviously part of his powers is that he pulls your memories. So he finds out about Lois. He finds out about the Kent farm. He finds out about Martha. He finds out about the Justice League, and you have a situation where killing him subconsciously solves all of his problems, and he doesn't. I don't know how you do that. Maybe you have him, I don't know, fucking whip his ass so bad that Parasite forgets or something. I don't know. But I think a simple villain with a simple power with big implications is the way to fucking fix Man of Steel 2.
Kendo or Nick, do you have anything that you would like to see in a Man of Steel 2? Or in the chat, folks in the chat, let me know what you'd like to see from a Man of Steel 2.
Yeah, not really. I mean, just you gotta fix the character of Superman the way you've portrayed him over the last decade.
Yeah,
is really
definitely
all you got to do.
On a side
However
note,
you have to do it. Just
personally, I'd like to see a Cyborg movie.
That'd be cool. I hope I wouldn't mind like a Cyborg team up movie.
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
think that guy has like a personality. The character doesn't have much of personality, but if you team up with somebody, because you remember how back in the day, Dion, you'd probably remember this better, how there was Green Lantern, Green Arrow, that comic book series. back in the 70s.
Yes.
Something along those lines where you just team up. Like there's going to be not Captain Falcon, Winter Soldier and Falcon, Captain America.
Right. Yep.
I think that there's a good dynamic between those two characters. You could probably play Ray Fisher's Cyborg off of someone similar. Maybe he's the straight man. You have a more jokey character. Fuck, you could do Cyborg Green Lantern. There you go. If you want to do something crazy like that.
Ooh, yeah. Because I mean, I really liked his character. I really liked the actor. I think he did a good job of like, in what little he had, he conveyed the pain of being Cyborg and like the shit he had to go through and things like that. Like very little timing of Cyborg you had with. I was just kind of like very happy with that. And I was like, man, I want to see this guy do more stuff with Cyborg. I want to see more of that character. And he just kind of pops into Justice League all of a sudden, and I want to see his backstory and what he's all about. In all honesty, I want to learn about Cyborg.
That'd be good. I don't think he has. He's a big character. Not obviously not as big as the big three. It had to be a team up. He doesn't have the character chops, I think, to warrant a whole movie that goes into his backstory. If they didn't fuck up, Teen Titans, I would have had, if you're going to do a Cyborg movie, do a Teen Titans movie. Maybe even put him in the show, change some shit up, make it a little bit better. Try to make it not a fucking Hot Topic version of Teen Titans and do something with him in Teen Titans. But yeah, I don't see a very successful movie. And then just, some people in the chat were bringing up Brainiac. Brainiac is a huge character. And I think there would have to be a lot of explanation that right now people don't have the faith that could be done right. I think if you prove it with a character like Parasite, and then you bring in Brainiac, and if anything, I think Brainiac is a Justice League level villain. I wouldn't waste it on just Superman. I would, obviously, you got to have something with Darkseid, obviously, but I would save Brainiac for a Justice League film before I would a Superman movie.
I like Brainiac's idea, but I also like yours about saving it. I don't. Some people in the chat are saying, Justice League needs to have a sequel. It was meant to have a sequel. What would the sequel be? Because the whole universe is so disjointed and broken. I don't want to necessarily say you have to go back to formula, but you need to go back to formula. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have them. I don't know. Get other superheroes and build a space station or whatever. I don't know.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. They're gonna have to do something like because I mean,
call up Elon Musk.
They spent the few movies they had just like shooting their loads as much as possible. It's like, you're using everything up. You got to pace yourself and draw this thing out. If you're playing,
they weren't shooting their loads. They were blue balling themselves. That's what they were doing.
So it's like you gotta. They had to pace it out, and it's like I don't know what you do other than maybe just like saying, all right, well, we need to get back to the basics here. What makes these characters good? Let's start with that. Let's slowly let's rebuild without going through a true rebuild and get it back to where it is, and then do something like that. You got to fix the damage.
I think the other thing too is they're in the box, so Steppenwolf says Darkseid, so 2 would have to involve Darkseid somehow. And if you bring in
Darkseid's involved in the Snyder cut because Zack Snyder's releasing all these photos of. I mean, he may not be the villain, but he's in this film now.
I wouldn't be surprised if what they did was what was at the end of Guardians 2, where it's just 2 seconds of Darkseid saying, I'm gonna do this shit myself or something. You mean
that was Thanos at the end of the Avengers?
Avengers, right.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. I do not think that Snyder had the wherewithal to finally fucking show us his version of Darkseid. And even if he fucking did and they didn't get put in the movie, I have a hell of a lot less faith in what he thinks Darkseid should be based on what we've seen so far, especially after fucking Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
Which is still pisses me off.
I'd like to read a couple of the super chats because the audience has been chiming in. Folks, we have over 900 people watching right now. So do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button to let us know you like world-class bullshitters. If you really love us, I have good news. Tonight on After Hours, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. We haven't really planned it out yet, but we will. And I'm going to have a lot more, more videos coming into production. So just be on the lookout for us. And then we have a couple more big announcements to make that we haven't made publicly. The guys know. I know. Jessie knows because she lives here. My mom knows because I called her. Our legal counsel knows because he helped set it up. But we have some big things coming, and they're all good things. It's not like, oh, we're leaving by. No. There's a couple really cool things that are in the works here at World Class Bullshitters and the Fandom Menace as a whole.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for saying that after you said legal counsel. I'm sure everyone's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "No, we're good. We're good. We're good."
We're suing each other.
Yeah, I'm suing Kendo for $1. He's suing me for $1. I'm suing Dion for $1. Nick's suing everybody for $1.
Yeah, so this is the last World Class Bullshitters. We'll be tied up in court for the next year.
Yeah. I want my. What's that movie? Better Off Dead. I want my $2 with John Cusack.
What's his name in Vegas Vacation? I want the money. I want it now.
Oh God, Vegas Vacation's a fun movie. Everyone shits on it. I like Vegas.
I
Vacation.
love Vegas Vacation.
Dude, it's Vegas Vacation is 90s as hell, man.
Yeah, it's the only. Technically, it is the only vacation movie from the '90s. But man, the way Audrey and Rusty are written, holy shit, they're a stereotype of that decade. But I like it.
Yeah.
So let's see. Our friend Ninja Lawyer Steve. Sorry. First off, TLJ Screwjob says people want to talk about how they've been in this Fandom Menace game. Well, WCBS are the effing game, JR.
That's right.
I love it. Dude.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, Kendo, are you all caught up on Pritchard, JR, and Shivani and all that stuff, all those shows?
I'm a week behind on Pritchard and a week behind on. Well, I'm today behind on JR, but I'm caught up on everything else.
I was lying in bed this morning. I got up really early and I was trying to fall back to sleep and I couldn't, so I put on the Judgment Day 2000 episode of Grill and JR. That dude, like when they do the intro, the voice of wrestling, that is the most apt title for him. He really is the voice of all of wrestling, dude, cross generations.
100%.
Oh yeah.
I would love to meet JR, but I'll tell you the truth, man. If somebody's like, you can hang off anybody from these podcasts, I pick Conrad, dude. Conrad's got a million cool stories. He's us with a cooler job.
Yeah. And he's got them Bentleys and Aston Martins and Ferraris and all that other stuff in his mansion overlooking Huntsville. Yeah.
But thank you, TLJ Screwjob. Any wrestling reference is welcomed here on this channel. Now, Ninja Lawyer,
all the time.
Thank you very much for your generous super chat. He says, I just found out my last chance for field work has been shot down because of work. Aw. Here, since I don't need the money for traveling, put it towards booze for Dion's millionth Dark Fate Last Jedi, Mr.
Thanks, buddy.
Millionth?
Yeah, millionth. Dion, I love you to death, man. But when you're constantly playing that Dark Fate Blu-ray in your
come on.
I'm sure everybody pictures Dion 24/7 except for Thursdays, just like in his like, you know, computer chair, jerking off the Dark Fate all the time.
Dude, why do you think
water?
Thursday nights? Our cameras aren't on for a reason.
He's gonna try to do it to Blu-rays what you used to do with the old videotapes whenever you'd watch them so many times, and that the tracking on the bottom of the screen would just be slightly off because it was starting to wear out. He's going to try to make a Blu-ray do that by as many times as he's going to watch Dark Fate.
Just the disrespect in this.
Of course, you're going to be disrespected.
I can't believe this.
Dion's like, I'm making really great points. I'm doing a lot of good stuff for the show tonight. We're covering a lot of topics, and here they come haymaker in me with this Dark Fate bullshit again.
1,000,000 times with Dark Fate, guys. 1,000,000. Goddamn it.
Well, we'll get our way to 2 because with this shit ain't stopping. Our friend Undercover Trooper says, as long as it doesn't interrupt The Witcher, I'm in. And I believe he's talking about Henry Cavill is with more Superman. Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure he's getting paid way more with Netflix than with doing, you know, Ruffalo-esque parts or team ups with the Justice Buddies.
The Justice Buddies. We should make a fucking ripoff called. We'll be the Justice Buddies. Oh god, Kendo, add that to the list. The Justice Buddies.
The Justice Buddies.
More shitty superheroes with very useless powers. We team up.
Jesus.
Our friend Stargate 404 says, as Goldblum would say, Disney finds a way.
Yeah, to fuck themselves.
Yeah. Thunder Robots, thank you very much. AT&T/Warner Media wants Affleck back as Batman, according to an article by theculturenerd.org. I had seen about 6 hours ago, Thunder Robots, I saw a thing from, it was Screen Rant or CBR, talking about how Affleck is a harder sell than, than Cavill. I could see why Warner and AT&T would want Ben Affleck, he is a big star. He's a proven star. He's a solid director. He's an Oscar winner. He's a great writer. He's like, you can joke about Ben Affleck's lull or his sad face or all this stuff, but he did produce a lot of good stuff. He kind of came out in the 90s. People didn't take him super seriously until Good Will Hunting. Then people took him too seriously because he made shit like Armageddon and Pearl Harbor. And then he went away for a while, and then he really proved himself. And I think that's why they want him back. I'm not this Ben Affleck enthusiast. The only things I own with Ben Affleck in them are like Mallrats, any of the Kevin Smith movies. I own a copy of Argo and Gone Girl. That's the movie. Yeah, he's in Gone Girl, right?
Yeah. I think he is.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I think that was the title of it. But man, that was Dion, have you watched Gone Girl yet? Or have you heard of it?
I have not watched it yet. I did hear of it, though. I heard it was just pretty good.
It's a serious movie, but I think it's David Fincher. It's not normally what we would talk about here on the channel, like, oh, we're, geek culture and stuff. But it's a pretty good movie that has a lot of interesting. It's like a pre-Me Too movie that has nothing to do with that. It's like the opposite of Me Too, or it's like this guy, could be in the shit. It's interesting. I'll just leave it at that. I'm trying not to spoil a single thing for you. But I recommend it's online somewhere, like to stream. Give it like $2 or $3 and watch it. I really liked it.
I heard the ending is fucking fantastic too. Oh my god, yeah, I definitely got to watch it for sure now.
So up next we had our friend Samurai, who says, "I'll take Batfleck over Battinson." So will I, even though I haven't seen Battinson, and I got to be fair, I guess. I kind of miss Batfleck. I just loved the look. We have our friend McKinney90. Thank you very much for your super generous super chat. He says, Snyder's films are a mixed bag for me, but I do support the movement for the Snyder Cut. It's interesting hearing so many sides within the fandom minutes, from you guys to Mary Mayhem to Fatal J to Abu Nas on this cut. McKinney90, I need to hear what the other ones are saying. I'll have to go through their videos. I talk to Mary through Jesse every once in a while. She's really cool. I don't know Fatal J, and I've obviously heard of Abu Nas. I think he called himself the president or something. I don't know what their takes are, but I like I said, I have a video coming out. That's going to be the one thing you guys really are going to want to hear, because I sat down, wrote out my thoughts, and went more in depth. Obviously, our live shows are much different from our videos, but you still get a similar message, different package, delivery system, if you will. But that's the thing about the Fandom Menace. We don't echo each other. We may all hate The Last Jedi. That may be the thing that brought us together, but we all have different tastes in entertainment. Even on this podcast. Dion, name a movie that you love that I don't.
RoboCop.
There you go. I think RoboCop has grown on me, but I don't have the same feelings toward you. Or I was going to say Terminator Dark Fate, but, whatever.
Oh, fuck you. Damn it. I should have saw that one coming.
There it is again. I guess you could say that was a sucker punch.
Oh, Jesus.
That Zack Snyder's got me all fucking hot and bothered. How dare you bring up his bullshit, sir?
Now, I don't dislike Zack Snyder as a filmmaker, because I think the Dawn of the Dead remake is fine. It's fun. It's got some great moments. The Down with the Sickness part, I think that's the best part of the movie. And it's, like I said, it's fun. It's a good time. I still prefer the original. It's got more to say. It's just a better movie. But Zack Snyder and Watchmen. Watchmen doesn't suck. It's fine. It's a good one-to-one adaptation. It's just trying to bring those panels to life. Could it have been better? Of course. Could it have been worse? Of course. I think it's the best Watchmen movie we'll ever get. And I don't think we should ever touch Watchmen again. But the TV show was a bad idea.
Yeah, that's why HBO's not making a second season of it.
Nope, but I do have access to it now. I might watch the show. I was thinking, actually, since we have this streaming service now that we're not paying for, I might go back in and review a bunch of shit and just throw it up on Patreon or something like that, to do like a sit down with Watchmen, tell you my thoughts. If you guys would like that, let me know in the chat. I can make it happen. But McKinney90, thank you very much. Like I said, I don't think I have any plans to talk to anybody fairly soon, but I'll reach out and hear what their takes are. We covered it on the High Council. We'll probably talk about it again. I had something special planned for this week's High Council that even I forgot about. That's how special it was. So I'll have to go back and figure out what I had planned. But thank you. Our friend Raider the Lost Flick says, I've been warning people about streaming. I don't like not being able to control my content that I'm paying for. If you love it enough, buy physical. Well, I agree, man.
Yep.
I do buy physical of everything I love.
Oh yeah, dude. I think all of us on the podcast are huge advocates for physical media. Even though there's like a million, well, not really a million, but there's a lot of streaming services. But as we're seeing now, especially with Disney and even with Netflix and their screw up, I mean, they're able to do these things and what looks to be censor some of this stuff for for what they want and things. And it's and any censorship at all to me is bad, regardless of what you're censoring. To me, is just a bad idea and it's control, and I don't like it. This is why I buy Blu-rays and DVDs and have all this stuff, piled up in a box somewhere or along my wall or whatever, in cabinets and stuff, so I can pull it out and watch whenever I want to. And I don't have to worry about uploading it or bandwidth or bullshit or anything like that. I just pop in the disc and everything goes.
I like having digital versions of movies I own physically. Like, Nick, I have like Beverly Hills Cop on my phone and stuff like that. It's fun, but like seriously, if I'm sitting on the toilet and I go, I really want to watch the scene where Axel puts the banana in the tailpipe of the car or something, maybe I just pop it on and go on my way. Now, I'm kind of glad where we are, where you can do both. I'm 100% on board with physical. Like, I own every Back to the Future release they put out, or I'll pick up Indiana Jones or this or that, because I like owning things that I love. It's funny, everyone assumes, Fandom Menace, they hate everything. We're huge collectors of stuff. Look at Mecha Random's wall. Mecha Random has one of the best collections in the whole Fandom Menace. She's got tons of shit. She's got probably the most diverse collection.
Oh, yeah. There's, whenever we go to a horror convention, you guys will see me spend like $200 on movies.
Oh, yeah.
Just like indie stuff. There's a couple of companies who do spend money restoring old films, and those Blu-rays are like $30 or more a pop, and you get a DVD and a Blu-ray in there. But they're expensive, and I'm spending my money on them because those are movies you're never going to see again. They're not going to be mass produced. They're not going to be made in big quantities. So it's just what you got to do.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I pre-ordered from the Big Bad Toy Store the other day those Back to the Future figures that are coming.
You got them?
Yeah. And the big selling point was the fact that Biff had the ooh la la. And I was like, oh shit, I have to have this now because I fucking love those movies. Yeah. So, yeah, if it's shit that we like, stuff that's done well, stuff that the artist is actually putting some love, care, and loving care into it, and they want you to enjoy it as much as they clearly did bringing you this story, then yeah, of course we're going to support it and like it. That's, obviously, they didn't put any loving care into the Star Wars movies that they've put out over the last 8 years or whatever it is, because they just wanted our money.
Yep.
Dion, you and I collect way too much shit. We're not going to go into this shit. It's like, what's over here, Jeff? A TIE fighter. What's over there? A sword from Lord of the Rings. That's not my sword, but that's Jesse.
Right.
A land speeder from, Power of the Force 2 collection. Shit like that. But no, Raiders of the Lost Flix, man, I watch your channel. I back the way you talk about, pop culture and stuff. And I'm with you, man, 100%. Physical media all day, every day. Because look what happens. Sometimes you get bullshit like Star Wars, where George Lucas will go back and change it, and you can't really find it anymore. And some people won't notice the effects changes. Some people, I think a lot of people will with A New Hope, at least. But the fact that it's not available is a problem. And then, I'm looking at HBO Max. I went through every movie they had this afternoon. I just was curious. I didn't watch a single thing outside of 21 minutes of Batman. And I'm sitting there going, wow, okay, here's Lord of the Rings. Which version, which cut? People like the extended, they like the theatrical. And I don't think they had all of those on there. So it all boils down to, why aren't all these versions represented? Who is to say that this one is lesser than the other? I don't think a lot of people that make these decisions look at their catalog as closely as they should. They probably go, we own Lord of the Rings, or we have the rights to Lord of the Rings. Let's just slap them up there, and they're just whatever version. So,
yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm with you, man.
Yeah, even with that crazy 5-disc Ghostbusters cut, I watched the one with all the the text at the bottom tells you about every scene. You learn so much from watching it that way, and it's so much fun.
Yep,
you get to look at all the stuff, even the crazy deleted scenes I have on there. They've got everything they could ever put on there. All the takes of them in the park, and the story of why the awkward scene of Dan Aykroyd getting his pants opened by the ghost, what that whole thing was. All that stuff they have on there, and you get to learn all about it, even with all the commentaries and the storyboards, everything. And that's why I love physical media, because you have all that stuff you can go through, and you can constantly go through it whenever you want to. I love that shit.
Sorry that there's all this background noise, folks. Next up, our friend Franchise History TV says, hello, everyone. Warner went wrong chasing the MCU. I concur.
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Yes.
100%.
We also have our friend John Donald. Thank you very much. He says Superman killed Zod in 1990 after years of fighting Zod.
Yes, I don't remember the specific storyline, but I either Zod wasn't dead. I have to read it to be 100% honest with you. Either Zod wasn't dead, or that was another. Was that a separate universe or timeline? Obviously, that wasn't Kingdom Come, but I don't think that was. I keep wanting to say 616. Whatever Earth the main timeline is. I don't think.
I think it's just called Earth
619.
Boyega.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't think that was the main Superman that killed Zod.
I was just looking it up. 15 times that Superman killed his enemies back in 2016. So
the vast majority of them are either spin-offs or different universes. And again, they took out the fucking context. Because I remember reading one where they brought up Injustice, and clearly the fucking author didn't talk about it. So those articles piss me off the most.
So I'm looking
up as much as Zack Snyder.
I'm looking up these things about time Superman is killed. Number 13 to 15 is Titan from Smallville, episode 127. It's Kane. Kane plays a villain in Smallville and gets killed.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's Kane.
It's gotta be Kane. My God.
And the whole part of that episode was he was going back and trying to capture the remaining Phantom Zoners that escaped at the end of the previous season. And even so, his battle with Kane was him dealing with his fucking inner anger, and he kills him on accident.
Let's see. Up next, we had our friend TLJ Screwjob says, pick one of these people: Michael Bay, M. Night Shyamalan, Tommy Wiseau, and Zack Snyder. One for director, one for producer, one for writer, and one for cinematographer.
So Tommy Wiseau for everything.
Right, the best film ever made, right?
Yeah. Tommy Wiseau times 4.
Let's see. Zack Snyder cannot. I don't know. I'd say Zack Snyder for cinematographer because that keeps him away from writing or directing. So
Yeah.
he just has to figure out like the color, what do you the way it's supposed to look on the screen and the lighting and shit. So that's fine.
If it's an action movie, you definitely want Michael Bay working on the explosions.
Yeah, that's
he's very
true.
well versed in explosions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would pick none of these men. Well, M. Night Shyamalan could direct. That's fine. He's not really that terrible. And I'd have Zack Snyder produce. And I'd have Tommy Wiseau. Fuck, I may have Tommy Wiseau produce. No.
The dude can raise funds.
That's true. He can. That's true. He can.
Yeah, I mean, you could have M. Night Shyamalan. He can write. Okay, so like his shtick was, I have to come up with an ooh, what a twist in every movie. But I mean, they were hit and miss. Like he wrote some movies that were really good, like The Sixth Sense, and the other. Oh fuck,
Unbreakable.
Broken Clock is right twice a day.
Yeah, so like 50% of the time he can, do a good job 100% of the time. So it's like you could have him write the movie, just be like, all right, so hey, here's what we want. We want a story about this. None of your fucking what a twist bullshit. Just give us a good story, and I think you'd be okay.
Yeah, I would be okay with him writing. I'd be okay with him writing. That's fine because I think when Michael Bay made his own movie, he made The Island. So
yeah.
So
say, and then if you have Zack Snyder directing it, you just have Dion standing there with him the whole time. And every time he tries to do anything, Dion's just like, is that what you want to do, Zach? Is that what you want to do? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because eventually, either he's going to make a really good movie or he'll just fucking quit.
It's just me staring at him like Samuel L. Jackson in Black Snake Moan.
Yeah.
Stares motherfuckerly.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Just staring with a random wife beater on set. Who's that black dude with the wife beater? Don't ask about it. Don't ask about it. He's here for me. Don't worry about it.
Did you guys ever see that movie?
Oh yeah, I watched it. I watched it a couple times, man.
I've never seen the whole thing, to be honest with you.
It's awesome. It's
I
so
saw it in
good.
theaters. It's a great movie. I love it.
It is.
I wanted to ask, Or no, I didn't want to ask what to tell you guys something. Some on Jesse's stream the other night, somebody sent her a super chat and asked, "Have you ever seen the movie Tales from the Hood?" And I went on a 20 tirade talking about how great Tales from the Hood 1 is and how fucking terrible Part 2 is and how much we dislike Rusty Cundiff.
Yeah, fuck Rusty Cundiff.
Hey, Nick, can we do Tales from the Hood Part 1 commentary one of these days?
Yeah, we can, man. Yes, we can.
I'm going to take a break for a minute from the super chats. I wanted to get to our next topic. By the way, AJ Journeyman, I saw your super chat. I am going to read it, but I wanted to tell you thank you for your comment over on our After Hours episode. You're the reason why I brought it up on the show tonight, because I was like, cool, I'm glad people really dug that one. I think when it's the four of us, I don't think there's any better chemistry on the internet.
Agreed.
So, let's see. Where were we at? Where did I have the fucking thing pulled up with all the show notes? Excuse me. I'm super uber professional today. I'm still jazzed about this comic book. That's all I can say. It's finally done. Like, done. They finally did me right. I just got all these books now to ship. Anyway, quickly. Well, not quickly. I wanted to ask your guys' thoughts on The Last of Us 2 being banned in parts of the Middle East because of the sexual overtones or undertones of the characters. I feel like this is a good little. I won't even call it a transition. I'll just
imagine my shock.
I know, right?
No,
I can hear. I can hear in your voice, Kendo. You're absolutely shocked.
One of the gambles you take, and I wouldn't say that they didn't see this coming, but when part of your market is in a super conservative area, despite how you feel about it, this shit tends to happen.
Yeah, kind of like the ghosts and Ghostbusters 2016 in China. They were just like, nope, we're not taking it. It's like, well, what did you expect? What did you want?
Or the Force in Star Wars.
I don't know. The Last of Us Part 2 comes out. What? It has it come out already?
No, it got pushed to the fall, I want to say.
What movie got pushed to the fall?
The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, it comes out in like 2 weeks.
Oh, really? I thought
it's like June 13th or some shit like that.
Okay.
I cannot wait to not buy it.
Dude, I am a PlayStation enthusiast. I've owned all the consoles. I love a lot of their exclusives. I'm not buying this game not out of a political stance or anything, consumerism, like, what we're doing in the Fandom Menace. I don't like the first game. I have no interest in that shit, so I was never going to buy this. I never tell people not to buy the game. I never tell people to buy the game. I'm just presenting what I find and how their hypocrisy entertains me. So, like you said, Dion, how did they not see this coming? Look at the Force Awakens, The Rise of Skywalker, and they had the first lesbian Star Wars kiss. You know how many of us were up in arms in the theaters here? Nobody gave a shit because the lady with the big nose sucks. But in other parts of the world, they cut it out of the film because the sensibilities are different across the globe. And here's the weird, funny part: a certain sect of the world wants to, we're gonna make the whole world one big community. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Well, we're going to make our movies for the worldwide box office. Yet you're infused with American, like, odd politics that they really don't play that well to America itself. Then you put it in other parts of the world where they just remove it completely. And I don't think, telling stories of marginalized people is not a bad thing. I don't think if you want to make something and like, the character's gay, that's fine. I don't have problems with gay characters, gay people, any of these things. But what I have a problem with is the hypocrisy of Naughty Dog, where they shit down your throat with their opinions and their views, and they talk to you like you're the worst, like you are a literal dog. They talk to you like a fucking animal, and then they will backtrack, or they'll just be like, we're not going to do this type of thing for other parts of the world. And they don't really know how to handle the pushback. They can tell a million people on Twitter you're a dick, but when it comes to something a little bigger, they kind of pull it back. And I'm happy other parts of the world don't want this game. That's what I'm going to say, this game. Because I don't necessarily know and believe the same thing everyone in the world believes, but I do know that the way this game has been handled and approached was piss poor.
Oh yeah, and I really hope that people are wise to it, and they vote with their wallets as opposed to yelling at Naughty Dog on Twitter, because that's not going to do anything. You want to send a real message? Vote with your wallet.
Mm-hmm. And again, and I think the biggest part is what you said. They pretend to be altruistic with some things, but then, we won't put this in the game for other markets. But hey, you wanted the world to be, you want the world to be one. You want to, show about how you love all groups. But this one was worth was worth dying on a hill for, but other stuff, you guys want games to be bought in China. You want games to be bought in the Middle East and other situations. But this is the one where you want to start fighting and throwing haymakers for, and again, being disingenuous. Now, obviously, hey, I'm not going to put it past them that they saw this coming, but I think especially the way they talked about it, a couple of weeks ago, especially how combative they made it from the jump. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens when the game finally drops, and especially it's going to be interesting to see what happens, what people think about the game after all of that. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
A guy by the name of Eye of Sauron makes an interesting point. I want to hear everyone's take. Kendall, I'm sorry if I cut you off, but he says story-driven games are limited from the start. Do you think there was a couple-year span where, and this is what I think The Last of Us 2, or who I think The Last of Us 2 is for. It's for the critics of these games to give them big scores, to put the games out there and have people buy it because, IGN said 10 out of 10, or Kotaku, gave it a perfect score. I think a game like this exists for them. But the point I'm trying to get at actually is, you think story-driven games, people the media fell so head over heels for them, and that's this big point for them. But gameplay has taken a step back, and now video games are just kind of like interactive movies. Do you think that is the case, and do you think it sucks?
I think it definitely sucks. I don't think that it is as common as we initially think. I think obviously a lot of credit for that's going to fall on David Lynch or whatever his name is.
Who?
The dude that made Detroit Become Human and Indigo.
Oh, that's not David Lynch is a filmmaker.
Yeah, that's David Lynch. Fucking.
He did Eraserhead.
Yeah. Oh my God. Chat, help me out. But the French motherfucker. A lot of that's on him. And then he even came out and said that he thinks that's how David Cage. Thank you, David Cage. Fucking thank you. But he even came out and said that's how he thinks video games should be. And the problem with that, obviously, is so many media outlets who don't fucking play video games look at that and like, yeah, that's how that's supposed to be. And then those are the games that they cover and all this other bullshit. You guys are awesome with the David Cage. Thank you. That tends to get more traction in the media. In all actuality, I don't think that's the case. A lot of other games are able to balance gameplay and story continuously. Games like The Witcher are an example of that. Not Mass Effect Andromeda, but like Mass Effect 1 and 2, 3, obviously they fucked up the ending, but a lot of studios who actually want to survive because, the gaming market's a lot heavier in some ways than making movies. They know how to balance that. But for some reason, it's that, as much as I hate to say that, vocal minority that loves to talk about that, the movie like video game. Luckily, I don't feel that it's as bad as we think it is.
Nick, Kendo, you guys game as well, PlayStation as well. Any thoughts on any of this stuff, especially the story over gameplay element?
I mean, oh god, I think the story of these games. I mean, the games that are like movies. I really enjoyed playing those. Lately, I've kind of been just kind of a shooter guy who just wants to play World War II, play some space game, whatever, shoot some zombies, shoot some bad guys, and just keep moving on. Like, I really don't care. I mean, I really loved Halo, and that's what those games were. But getting into these games has been a lot of fun. I think, and I think the reason a lot of these news outlets has been reporting on these games is because they're new, or they're newer in the fact that that's a playable movie. Basically, they're tired of covering the MMORPGs and the shoot 'em up games and things like that, and they're really tired of that stuff because it's all the same stuff. Doesn't know if like the Call of Duties and things like that. And I think when they saw these games and these were picking up speed and people were playing them a lot, talking about them, they wanted to make it into a thing. And then the vocal minority got a hold of part of Last of Us Part 2 and did their bullshit to it, and that's what happened. So,
Kendo, anything you would like to add?
Not really. I mean, I haven't noticed, but then again, the type of game I play aren't really conducive to the whole playable movie type thing. Some of the games I play, it's kind of like playing a movie, but that's because it's a long, drawn out story. But there's a ton of other stuff to go in, like when I was playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But it was actually a good story. It was a better story than most of the movies I've watched over the last couple of years. But I mean, games aren't supposed to be like preachy. They're supposed to be entertainment. I'm supposed to come home from a long, hard days of work and sit down and for 5 hours waste my brain playing video games. That's what they're for.
Yep.
And so, again, it's like, what did they expect when it comes to stuff like this, where they're making a preachy, agenda-driven, product and trying to market in places where that shit does not fly. So it's just, I mean, I always find that funny whenever they're like, they like to, slag on America about how horribly hateful and intolerant we are, but then like turn a blind eye to places that are far worse.
Right.
I was just reading the chat. Sorry, I can't wait for the new Paper Mario on the Switch either. Nerdigans Incorporated.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually looking forward to that retro wrestling game that's supposed to come out on the Switch.
I saw that. It's got like the NWA guys, right? It's got real wrestlers.
Yeah, I think I said something to you, but like a year ago when they first said it was going to come out, I was like, "Holy shit, this is going to be a lot of fun!" Because it's like essentially it's a sequel to a game that came out like 30 years ago, and I'm looking forward to it. WrestleFest,
right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to turn the whole show into a wrestling thing, but I hope that the AEW video game, if they, in my opinion, will be the smartest move for them, is to basically dust off the old WCW or the old No Mercy engine. Essentially, it's just the Aki engine. I think you want the No Mercy one because like WrestleMania 2000, this shit didn't have running grapples to a degree. Anyway, my point is, if AEW did that and they brought back that gameplay and then they licensed out wrestlers that aren't under contract with WWE and they just produced this like super game, that could be really cool. And basically what I'm trying to get at is I want competition for all of the things I love, because I want them to really try to up their game. No pun intended.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm all for it. Like, I mean, some of the best wrestling games I ever played were the ones on 64 of the WCW World NWO World Tour sold out. No Mercy, or not No Mercy. Was it No Mercy? Fuck, the really good one from WWE.
No Mercy.
Yeah, well, that's
No Mercy.
I keep thinking it was the really shitty one. I can't remember which that was called. Yeah, Attitude. That's the one. That one was fucking terrible. But yeah, No Mercy was really good.
Warzone.
I mean, games like that are. Yeah, Warzone was. That's the one I was thinking. That one was terrible too. But yeah, no, like those three games were just so much fun. It's like those types of, get something back to that. That'd be great. And then I would just constantly beat the shit out of Orange Cassidy. I just don't like Orange Cassidy.
I love Orange Cassidy.
I do too.
I just hate his gimmick.
I love it so much. It's so great.
But has an
stupid.
AEW game been announced or anything?
Yeah, they said they're going to try to put one together.
Well, good luck to them. I hope they're more functional than the last WWE game that we saw all those complaints about on Twitter that were just like all those glitches and everything that happened. I thought that was hilarious, but
I would like to think that they would be smart enough to sit there and say, well, we're going to learn from the WWE's mistakes, and we're not going to fucking do something stupid and rush out a game like the 2K game.
I really hope that they do that. I don't know the company and what they're doing and what their the whole thing is, but I do hope they're smarter than WWE and make a company. If the game at least works and doesn't have any crazy glitches, they're already ahead of the game. No pun intended.
Right. Well, doing things smarter than the WWE is not really difficult to do these days.
True. One thing I do want to give, I'm going to give WWE a pass, though. The reason their game sucks is not their fault. It's
it's the developer.
Yeah, it's the developer. And by the way, Kendo, since we brought up WWF Attitude or Warzone, look at the graphics. That's The Rock right there, obviously, because it says
that.
But isn't that terrible?
Jeez.
Yes.
Anyway, he looks coked out.
I mean, yeah.
Wait, hold on. Which version is that?
PlayStation, baby.
Oh God. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the fucking video promos are the best part of that fucking game. By far.
Well, one quick thing I will say is, you talk about a console like the PlayStation, right? We all love the first PlayStation; it's iconic. I just want to show you the graphic disparity. Okay, so we saw this picture of The Rock from Warzone.
Okay,
this is the same console, and this is 2 years later. and this is what they gave us. I think this is head and shoulders better. This actually looks like The Rock to me. That other one didn't look like The Rock at all. It's the same fucking system, dude.
I just love that fucking chin.
He has less of a neck.
Yeah.
He does.
He's gotten swole.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a weird earring.
He used to have an earring back in the day.
Oh my god.
Not a good
jeez.
Anyway, moving forward, excuse me, folks. I was just indulging my wrestling love for just a moment. One final topic for tonight. Before we do, well, let's get to a couple super chats real quick, and then we'll get to our final topic about Captain America. Because, Dion, if you want to rant, I got a small rant for you to go on.
Oh, fuck.
So, first off, we had our friend, Tim Riggs, personal friend of ours. He says Warner Brothers / DC's expanded universe climax way earlier than their fans would accept. It's the Hollywood version of premature ejaculation. What do you guys think of that?
I mean, it's pretty true. I don't even think it's about what the fans accept. Is that they fucking nutted before it was just smart story wise.
Yeah, man.
Our friend Headcase Laboratory says DC animated universe needs to be the cinematic movies. Agreed.
Agreed. I remember I think we were somewhere and I watched, I guess, the Suicide Squad cartoon with you guys. And I was like, this is way fucking better than the movie.
We were in Orlando.
Yep, that's what it was. Yeah, and I was like, this was wonderful. This was so much fun and so coherent and everything. Made sense. Why didn't they just make that?
They were too busy fucking it up.
Yeah, that's true.
Our friend Not Granted the Rank of Master says, back to formula. I put that on screen the minute he posted it because he understood that reference. So thank you, Not Granted the Rank of Master. In my book, you are a master for getting that one. John McMasters says, we need a Codpiece movie adaptation. Sign me up. You know what? I should just get the rights for the Codpiece movie and make it myself.
The Codpiece? What?
You never heard of Codpiece?
I know what a Codpiece is.
No, the hero. You've never heard of the hero Codpiece.
No, I don't think I have. No,
okay, guys.
I haven't. I'm sorry.
I'm going to show you this. Do not be drinking anything because you're going to spit on your fucking...
Okay, all right. There's no liquid around me. We're good.
Okay. Now, there is a character called Codpiece who... I don't know how to simply put this. He punches people with his dick.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
Well, all right.
That's fucking real.
That's what we need right now, goddammit. That's the movie we need.
I bet that won't sell in China either.
Oh god. Fucking probably still better than Ghostbusters 2016.
Well, yeah.
Oh my god. Peace. That's the hero we need right now, ladies and gentlemen. We need Codpiece.
Yep, he's the hero we deserve.
He's the hero we deserve. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm going to leave this up for a minute. Thank you, John. Our friend Ghetto Bible says the way to save Justice League now is to have Kathleen Kennedy show up as Darkseid.
I mean, it could work.
Definitely.
Now, speaking of working, our friend Chuzilla has the fucking super chats that's working for me the most. The Justice Buddies. Why? Because it's just us. That's the line.
Oh god.
I love it so much. Oh my god. We have to be the worst. I actually had an idea for a terrible superhero comic. Like, he's terrible in the world, not a badly written story. So, we'll work on something. By the way, folks, tonight, I don't know exactly what's going down on the stream over on Jesse's channel, Mindless Entertainment, but it's a drinking stream, and we bought a lot of booze. Because, Nick, remember I sent you that picture of us at Kroger, who, when they had that sale, basically it was buy 3 cases of beer for the price of 1?
Yeah.
They have that on bottles of liquor now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like, save chunks of money. We got a bottle of tequila for $30-something off.
Oh,
Jesus. $50 bottle for $20.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to see that,
God, I should just. It would be cheaper for me to travel to California, buy cases of liquor, and then ship them back to myself.
Dion's done it.
That's true.
You would
WrestleMania
not
weekend,
let
baby.
that bottle of Patron go to waste.
I could not do it. I couldn't leave it. I just couldn't fucking do it. That and was a bottle of vodka too.
Yeah, you spent like $60 to ship alcohol.
Yep. Damn right I did.
Yeah. No leave no bottle behind.
Yeah. We don't even leave a partially full bottle. I've seen Dion like, hey, we got a little bit left. Let's just strengthen up that drink or just finish this off because we're not going to leave this little bit left.
God bless America.
Yeah, God bless America. Grant, thank you very much, Grant. Grant says Superman Red Sun and Batman during Prohibition. Are those two titles that you're recommending? Because I know Superman Red Sun. I don't think I've ever heard of Batman during Prohibition.
That sounds interesting.
Batman during Prohibition.
I know that was Batman Candlelight or whatever, which was like the 8,
Oh,
Early
Gotham by
Century.
Gaslight is what you're thinking of.
Thank you. Yes, yeah.
I'm looking up Batman during Prohibition. Don't see anything that popped up. Scar of the Bat, is that what you're talking about? Where he's like actually fighting gangsters? That looks pretty cool. Like an alternate universe version. That it's Batman in a duster with his bat mask on. It looks cool. I'll have to check that one out. Logan Michael, Anti-Funko Pops, what is up, dude? He says, I want a movie with Eric Andre as Batman and Hannibal Buress as Robin. Well, I want a toilet made of solid gold, but it's not just in the cards now, is it? I would watch that for terrible reasons, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, definitely, yeah.
Just Hannibal Buress as Robin being an asshole.
Dude, it would.
He just goes, hey, Batman, that's whack, and that's it. That's all he says. The whole fucking movie. Up next, we also had our friend Pudding Tang 2, who says, I just wanted to say that I went to SeaWorld and swam with the dolphins. Aquaman ain't got shit on me.
Just don't give the dolphins. Just don't give the dolphins the disease.
Or try to fuck him.
Yeah, but say, have you seen the King of the Hill where the dolphin rapes Hank?
Yep.
Or that fucking that copy pasta of that dude giving pointers about fucking the dolphin.
Oh my god.
There's some weird shit on the internet.
So many.
Here's a very nice message from our friend AJ Journeyman. He says, hey guys, it's been a while. After dealing with sickness and losing internet for a week, cut cable by workmen, and taking a hiatus for religious reasons, it's good to be back and hear you guys again. Well, AJ Journeyman, it is good to have you back. And I've been reading, like I said, I get little notifications from Patreon about comments and stuff. So again, I do want to reiterate, I'm glad you enjoyed this week's show over on Patreon. I almost had too much fun because we stayed up late the night before, watched movies and did shit. And I got up at the crack of dawn. I was like, I'm going to be tired. Nope. With you guys, it's never worked. So I fucking love it.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Julio Asasus, excuse me if I butchered the last name, he says, if I went back in time, I would have Brad Bird direct Man of Steel and Zack Snyder get Suicide Squad. And anytime he attempted to touch the script, James Gunn would slap his hand off.
God.
I've been seeing a lot of talk about James Gunn and all these DC directors because it's weird to think James Gunn is a DC and Marvel director.
Yeah.
He's going to direct The Suicide Squad, which please just stop. Why can't we just get a fucking Green Lantern movie? And everyone's like, well, Green Lantern sucked. That's why we don't get another one. You know what? We also had
Make a good one.
They will make a good one because we had Deadpool in Wolverine Origins. If every time they said we want a Deadpool movie, and I said no Deadpool ever because we had Wolverine Origins Deadpool, that's good enough. That's bullshit. Look what we got out of that movie. The real Deadpool duology. Fantastic, fun movies. We can't always look on what failed and not take a risk because Green Lantern, as Guardians of the Galaxy gets bigger, because that could, if Marvel played their cards right, the Guardians could be the Avengers level franchise where it's big spacefaring shit, and you tie in all this, intergalactic stuff to the Guardians franchise. Plus, people like it so much. They like the music, they like the characters. Green Lantern could be the DC equivalent minus the music. I mean, Hal Jordan, you don't even have to have Hal Jordan, or you could have Hal and you could have John, or you could have John and Kyle. Kyle could be a little goofier, and you could have that dynamic. You need Lethal Weapon in space with Green Lantern, and you could go everywhere in the galaxy, and it could be this huge, beautiful spectacle, and you just got to do it right. All respect to Ryan Reynolds, but dude, you are a terrible choice for the Green Lantern. Mm-hmm. Stick to Deadpool. You're a 10 out of 10 there.
Yes.
Our friend AJ Journeyman says, I just reread my comment on Patreon and I flubbed my comment. Apologies to Dion. I meant to say I thought he had disdain for Zack Snyder. Dion, do you have disdain for Zack Snyder?
No,
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 not
I
at
don't
all.
have disdain for the old Z-Snides. No, I just would punch him into the head as many times as I could before he fell asleep.
The Z Sny. We should just call it from that from now on. What cut of Justice League do you want to watch? The Z Sny. Okay.
The Z-Snide. Hey, yo, Z-Snide, you still a bitch.
Our friend Bombshoes, thank you very much. He says, the funny part about the Last of Us situation is if it was the other way around and Joel beat a gay girl to death, it would be Hollywood wanting it banned. There is a double standard for gender and orientation in Hollywood. There's definitely a slant to it. So you're right. If the shoe was on the other foot, oh my God, you'd have so many pundits up in arms. It's so offensive to women. It's so like they're fucking digital characters. They're not real. Nobody got hurt. Everybody got paid, and they did their jobs, and they went home and had dinner, and everything was fine.
No. What would happen is that they get the 4 animators who had to animate the hand getting slapped and or animate the hand slapping the female character, and they'd have to talk to them and how shook they are from having to animate that for 5 months. Oh man, it took so long.
An apology to her.
Yeah.
And listen, don't get me wrong. Like, everyone can agree, doing some crazy shit like that because of someone's orientation is wrong. The issue is the studio picking and choosing when to do these things. And then on top of that, being hey, just so you guys know, our character in this movie is insert orientation here. Instead of letting it naturally be displayed when you buy the fucking game, well, we wanted to make sure that we represent people. So just so you guys know, before you buy our game, this is in our game and you should buy it because of that thing. Thank you. Bye. Like, no one's falling for that shit. That's the problem I have. That trying to use it to sell the game. They're not doing it because it's the right thing. They're doing it because it'll make you buy the fucking game. Period.
Yeah, and to boil down one of the main characters' arcs or main characters in the game itself to just be like, this is the only thing that matters is their sexual orientation. That's all they have. It's like you're diminishing the character, and you're also, that's a lot of bullshit for just trying to sell a game. It's like, that's what we did, and it's awesome. It's great. It's like, no, we don't care about that. We just want good shit. We want a good story. Right. We could give two shits to the person's orientation is. I mean, if it comes up in the story, that's cool. If not, no big deal. Whatever.
No matter who you want to bang, we all want to live in a fucking apocalypse.
Right. Well, I was going to say on top of that, it's also kind of disingenuous and or insulting to people of different sexual orientations if you pull it down that way. Because if you're doing that in the video game form, saying the only thing that's important about this character is their sexual orientation, then you're like, well, does that mean that like the same thing for people, that the only thing that matters is, you don't worry about their personality or what kind of person they are. It's about whether or not they're gay. It's like, no, that's not it at all. That's actually the opposite of the message that they're trying to send here.
Right. Yeah. Listen, get inside quickly. Okay. You have a weapon. Great. Do you have any medical supplies? Great. Who do you want to fuck in this room right now? Answer the question right now.
Yeah.
You
gay?
It's not this. Get out. Like, no.
I mean, like that's how I always greet people whenever I shake their hands. Like, hey, who you fucking? every time.
Hey,
first time,
oh, hey man, nice to meet you. You gay?
No,
that's an important thing right now.
Yeah. First time I met Jeff, I was like, Jeff, it's good to meet you. Who you fucking?
Yeah. You like
why
dudes?
we've been friends for 6 years.
That's the important selling point.
Yeah, exactly. It's the important selling point of why I'm on this podcast. Who you fucking?
That's literally. I asked you that when I said, "Do you want to be on the show?" Who you fucking? You get the right answer, and you're here. 5 years later, you're here.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Our friend Robert McRae, thank you very much. He says Sony censors Japanese games for global standards. Maybe they need to censor The Last of Us 2 for the globe. And then in parentheses he says, "I don't believe in censorship of any kind." Robert, I'm with you. I don't believe in any kind of censorship.
No. Yes, yeah.
Sony doing what they do.
Yeah, same here, man. Censorship of any kind is bad.
Oh, can you think of any remember back in the day when they would make the blood green for German releases of Mortal Kombat and shit?
Yeah.
Which is always a weird thing. I mean, really gonna make the blood that somebody's getting shot from, a human character's getting shot, the blood's gonna be green? That's your thing. Come on.
It was weird. It was even for trailers, they made it dark green or black, and it was just, and I get it, but it's just that mindset of, well, if we show the actual color of blood, it could fuck a kid up. It's like you're showing liquid coming from. What's the kid gonna think? Oh fuck! They spilled syrup on their head in a fight. Like it's just weird.
Kids know what color blood looks like.
Because they're fucking getting hurt all the goddamn time. That
is true.
It's just a weird. It's just a weird mindset. Oh, we don't want like parent groups to get mad. Like, what channel are they watching where they're showing people's heads getting split open? It's just, I don't know, man. Like people picking and choosing and who not to get. Like if a titty falls out on TV, a titty falls out. Like people have titties, man. Like what's the big deal? The kids gotta learn anyway. Shit.
Real quick, since we're on the topic of video games for just a quick moment.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say on the topic of titties.
Oh, on the titties. That's what this channel would be about if people cared. So Kate Upton or Alexandra Daddario, who do you choose? You know what I'm saying? Right. What I wanted to share.
Both are winners.
This past week, on the 24th of May, was the 25th anniversary of Tales from the Hood. Just wanted to put that out there. Anyway,
the good one. The
only one.
The good one.
Fuck you, Rusty Cundy.
Well, no, the reason I brought that up is we're talking about games. Do you want to hear the weirdest video game crossover ever that I instantly downloaded the game for free because of what it is?
Sure.
I'm kind of scared.
So what?
I'm kind of scared.
No. You'll like it because you would download it and play it yourself.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Have we all heard of the game King of Fighters?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
There is a WWE crossover, and the only reason I downloaded it is because it says download now to play as The Rock. So I was like, okay, The Rock is in another game. I'll try it out. And I download it, and it literally starts out with, if you smell what The Rock is cooking. And he's just, you use The Rock in a fucking beat-em-up game. It's weird. He's in his wrestling gear.
Dude, King of Fighters is super Japanese, too, man. Like, that was one of those crazy-ass fighting games, man. Oof.
The cool part is, though, like, for his... Because you know how a lot of Japanese stuff is very stylized a certain art style way. He looks like himself, just kind of like put in there with a slightly exaggerated body. It's really weird, but I dig it. Like doing the people's elbow in the middle of a fight that's like a real fight. You just got to experience it, dude. That's all I can say.
I might have to find it then.
Our friend Pudding Tang 2 says, "Man, I got a big vagina. Man, I got a big vagina." Why did I say it twice? I didn't. The second was an echo.
Thanks, Blaine.
Dude,
God.
I remember there was a joke tape my mom had, and like I wasn't supposed to hear it, but they would play it for people, and so I'd be like in another room and I'd hear it. It was, I don't know the name of the stand-up, but the guy's name was Jay Hickman, and he had like this boat ride thing. I think that was what the skit was called. But if you listen to the whole thing, he talks about my best friend's a gynecologist, and he went up to a woman and he said, "What a hole, what a hole," and she said, "You didn't have to say it twice," and he's like, "I didn't. The second was an echo." I love that joke. It's been around forever. I love it. Oh, guys, we have a special guest tonight. We haven't had the privilege of being joined by this man in quite some time.
Oh God, who is it?
It's Darth Vader's disembodied chart phallus.
Oh my God!
Oh,
He's back.
Vader!
Where has he been?
Hold on. He says, "I'm available to play the role of codpiece. Maybe I'll be better than my OnlyFans. Times are tough on Mustafar. They don't pay better. Sorry."
Yeah.
The internet must be spotty up there too. That's why we haven't heard from you in a while. But man, you need to show up a little bit more.
Well, I'm sure the backlash to his OnlyFans is hot.
Boo.
Get out. Oh, wow.
McKinney90, thank you very much. He says, "You bring up the Justice Buddies. It reminds me of the Justice Friends skit from Dexter's Laboratory." I remember that.
That's been forever.
No, dude. I always think of the Infraggable Crunk. Was it
Infraggable Crunk? That sounds like a guy that just dances to EDM for like 10 minutes to distract the bad guy.
Yeah.
Do you mean he's on LSD or Molly?
Sure, both. Why not?
I don't. Who's Molly?
I don't know. Well, my
Why
friend,
is he on her then?
her girlfriend. I have a cousin named Molly. There we go.
Mm.
Headcase Laboratory says Justice League Dark Apocalypse War is our Justice League movie. Well, I think it's on HBO Max. So I'll give it a shot. I like the Justice League. as you guys know. We've spent an hour talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Dixon Sider says, Did you know that when cocaine needs to get high, it does a line of Sam Kinison? The more you know.
Holy shit.
Damn.
That's some hardcore shit right there.
That is fucking hardcore.
Yeah, it is.
And then we have our friend Headcase Laboratory who says Star Wars Muppets must destroy Sky. Waka waka. Now, tonight's show's not going to go as long as it usually does. We're going to close it out in a minute, but I want to ask you guys a question, a serious question.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for the chat. This is for everyone. Which celebrities do you think are low-key Karens?
Well, actually, I have a thought on the matter.
I'm listening.
I don't know if there is a such thing as a celebrity that's a low-key Karen, just because with the amount of paparazzi and coverage they get, if they're a Karen, we know about it because it's on TMZ and it's on, it's in the Twitterverse and things like that. Because if there's one thing about celebrities we've learned is they can't help themselves on social media. So I don't know if there would be a low-key Karen celebrity just because we'd know if they were.
That's true. Natalie Portman is definitely a Karen.
Yeah, she's deaf.
But she's definitely not low-key either.
No, she ain't.
No, listen. Karen is like, you go to Starbucks and, they run out. They're not doing, they're low on milk, so they're not doing a specific latte. You say, I need to speak to your manager because I come in here every day and I get this latte. That's Natalie Portman. That's 100% her.
Another one is Jennifer Garner. Has to be.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, totally.
Yes. Yeah, now she's a trooper. Her going and making her ex-husband Ben Affleck get his ass in the car and taking him to rehab. She will always get points for that. But she is, you bet your ass, a Karen. 100%. 100%. And just based on antics, Kevin Smith is definitely a fucking Karen. 100%.
Yeah.
His
his wife, I guarantee, is his wife's probably the Karen.
Well, she's a Kennedy as well, so
and sadly, I think Gal Gadot's a Karen.
Oh shit.
Really
Britney Spears, I think, is a Karen.
Dude, yes.
Sandra Bullock is a Karen.
I don't know. Sandra Bullock actually seems kind of.
You can't go put America's Sweetheart out there like that.
Level Karen.
Oh yeah, Jennifer Lawrence.
She might be low XP Karen. Yeah, she's a low XP Karen.
Okay.
I think what's Tom Brady's wife's name? Kendall Giselle is a Karen.
Giselle Bundchen. Yeah.
Yes. She's a fucking Karen.
Jesus. Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, hey, Nicholas. God. Yeah, Ellen DeGeneres is definitely a fucking Karen.
Oh fuck 100%. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She might also be a bitch.
That's what I keep hearing. That's what I keep hearing.
It's the stories coming out of the Tweeterverse lately.
Mm-hmm.
Blake Lively has to be.
Well, apparently she almost they like her and Ryan Reynolds were gonna break up, and he was gonna straight up take the kids or some crazy shit a little while back.
Jeez.
Well,
Jennifer Hudson's definitely a Karen too.
Oh God, she's just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
What about Nicole Simpson Brown? Because OJ Pimpshand has chimed in and says Nicole is a low key Karen. Think she was a Karen, Kendo?
I mean, she could have been. I mean, maybe that's what happened to her. She was, mouthing off to somebody to the point where they decided to take matters in their own hands. It was allegedly OJ, but I'm not here to reverse the decisions of the Court of California.
You spoke to the wrong manager, bitch.
Maybe that's what happened. Like when Ron Goldman wasn't there to bring her back her keys, she mouthed off to the manager one too many times, and they're like, all right, we got to take care of this shit. I'm going to go fucking deal with it. Because OJ didn't do nothing.
What a perfect way to end a fantastic episode, guys. So, folks, this has been episode 220 of World Class Bullshitters. Every Thursday night, we take a dump on the world of pop culture. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out. If you want more of us, we are going to be on After Hours in just a few moments. We're going to be talking about some stuff like, the Power Ranger movie turning 25 this year, as well as Indiana Jones 5. There's some new news on that. If you joined us a little later, I have the new books. They're going to be getting shipped out this week. I'll make an official announcement on the High Council. I'll be showing it on camera. It's a thing of beauty, and I'm beyond proud of it. So I can't wait for everyone to get their new copy, as well as the people who want to get a copy in the first place. Well, then check it out. I will have all the information in the coming weeks. But our friend Barney, the Spaceosaurus Woke Reeks, says celebrity Karens are never low key.
Yeah, that's why it was kind of hard to come up with one. It's like, they are, because it's all over the news and the internets when celebrities have blow-ups.
I'm going to just put this on the screen because Chuck E. Cheese is clearly a wrestling fan, and I just want to show some love. He says, I just want to give a shout-out to my homeboy, O.J. Simpson. Keep up the good work. Jesus, I can't believe that New Jack said that back in the day.
But Jack's a strange dude.
Yeah, he's out there. Now, you got Nick, Kendo, Dion. Is there anything else you guys want to add, or you just want to call it a night?
Yeah. Who you fucking?
All right, folks. So, from all of us here at World Class Bullshitters and the Fandom Menace, thank you. Good night. Good evening. Be safe. But always, never mind. Hold on. We have another one coming from our friend Chuck E. Cheese. He says, great show, guys. Thank you, Chuck E. Cheese, for joining us tonight. By the way, Chuck E. Cheese, if you do get HBO Max, they have Child's Play 2 and 3, but not Part 1. So there you go. That pissed me off. But from all of us here, folks, I'd like to thank you. And as always, be excellent to each other.
Karen.
Karen is right.